Hello. Hey, Fighting Max, how you doing? Hope you're doing wonderfully. Oh, Banjo the Wizard, welcome in. Hope you're doing great. And Ash. Switched up the schedule just a little bit this weekend. Doing well? Great. I'm super glad to hear that. Switched up the schedule a little bit, so hopefully for the most of you that are going to be on, if Viddy happens to pop on, obviously it's going to be a different story, as he's usually about a day ahead of us. But it should be a nice, comfortable Saturday-ish afternoon for you. Ash, for you, probably it's going to be early evening. I know exactly what time it is, but I know it's early evening. Maximum Wesley, hello there, excuse me. So I switched the routine up. Pardon me for just a second. Excuse me. So I switched the routine up a little bit. It's not supposed to be a permanent part of the routine, but we had family plans that couldn't fit in any other time. So I had to fit it in tomorrow. And some stuff for my daughter and the like, so... we wanted to make sure we accommodated that, and also we're getting to stream and getting to talk with everybody and see how everybody's doing. I hope you're doing well, Maximum Wesley. I am kind of excited, a little bit nervous to play this game. I'm not nervous about playing the game. I'm a little bit nervous about the setup because this is the first time I've played a PC game with this kind of setup, so I'm hoping not to have too many tech hiccups. That's the nervous part, right? But I'm hoping that everything goes off without a hitch. I'll go ahead and do my normal preamble before I do ban the streamer. Offensive game. It is an offensive game, for sure. And I'll get into that here in just a second. I'm not afraid of that. I was a little cautious, undoubtedly, and I still am a little cautious. I'll explain why here in a minute again, for those of you who haven't heard my spiel, but it should be good. Playing on PC should be easier, I'm sure. It's actually more difficult for me just because I'm not a PC streamer. Now, I'm not saying it's not more difficult in setup. You're probably right about that. I think you would be a better judge of that because you do it more frequently than I do. But for me, I'm almost always console. And so, you know, you watched me play Eternal Darkness on, I was going to say GameCube. I played it on a Wii that plays GameCube so that I could upscale it to HDMI, right? But effectively, I played it on the GameCube. And that system all works really well. Everything else is attached to it. But when it comes to audio, all of my audio and everything is routed through the computer, which is routed through a mixer, and I can't separate physically those two channels, right? I can't separate the PC audio channel from... like my microphone's audio is on one channel, the PC audio is on one channel, and the game consoles are on their own channels. So I can fade in and out and make that all comfortable. I can't do that with PC, I can't do that with PC audio because PC audio all goes through one channel. So if you're streaming OBS, it's easy to do. I have a setup for it, so we'll see how well it goes off. But if it does fail miserably, I'll definitely be coming to you, if you'll permit me to, for advice. But yeah, so I don't do a lot of. So I have a setup here. We'll hope it works. Fingers crossed. I know a couple of things that will happen for certain. There will be a little bit of a delay between the game starting, my talking and the game starting, which I'll try to patch through. It'll just be a black screen for a minute while I get the application. Oh, no worries. No, I appreciate it. Tech is not my... I mean, I worked in the tech industry for a long time. I'm not going to say I don't know technology, but this is a different beast altogether, and I'm not an expert when it comes to it for certain, so this is where I've got a lot of learning to do. I enjoy mostly the audio portion of things. I never worked professionally in that side of tech, just to be completely clear. That's just a hobby of mine, so the microphone's the sound. But when it comes to the switching and all that of streaming, that's a whole different beast. I worked in fiber optic and cybersecurity for several years. That's what I did. And that is not at all the same as this. Keeping people safe while they're on the internet and making sure they can get on the internet at the fastest possible speeds is not the same thing as running a small production. and that's kind of what this is for everybody. Fighting Max, by the way, has a wonderful series of this too. I said we were talking about your Phoenix Wright before, and several other games that you had played before. Phantasmagoria, I think, was another one, and Machinarium. So just a lot of different, a lot of stuff like that. Last game I played on a PC was Call of Duty 1. Was Call of Duty 1? You played Call of Duty 1 on PC? I don't know if they had that on PC. I didn't know they had that on PC. Good Lord. For me, it's... I've played on... I love playing games on PC. It's a different story streaming them. Matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and I'm not sponsored by anybody, obviously. Give me 1 second. I'm going to scoot something over so I can see a little bit better. This setup is physically also different, and I'll explain that in a second too. So you can hopefully bear with me if you'll... Fingers crossed, if you will. Okay, there we go. So normally my setup, just so you guys know, I'm going to move this microphone just so we can talk for a minute. There we are. So normally when I'm set up, I have 3 monitors. I've got a big screen monitor, which is where I'm normally going to play the game off of. And then I have what I would call a live monitor, production monitor, which is on the wall to the right of me. And that kind of tells me what you guys are seeing and hearing, kind of. And then I have a touchscreen monitor in front of me, and that's where and it's a monitor. It's not like a phone. It's an actual full-on monitor. It's a Wacom tablet, to be specific, and I use it for drawing and thumbnails and stuff like that. But it works really well for like chat when the chat comes in. When I'm playing the point-and-click games, it's better for me to have the game on the little monitor, on the little touchscreen monitor. And your chat is on the big screen that I normally play the game. So those two things have switched, basically. Those have switched roles. And I'm also not going to play using the touchscreen. I'm going to play using that monitor, but I'm not going to use the touchscreen element of it. I'm going to use a mouse. Well, I don't have a lot of desk space, so I'm old-fashioned, and I'm going to be using a trackball mouse. And if you're not familiar with what a trackball mouse looks like, I don't think they're really a big thing anymore. They still exist, obviously, but I don't think they're a big thing anymore. But the mouse stays stationary. There's a little ball on the top of it that you roll with your fingers to navigate the screen. And I've used one. I've preferred to use those since the 90s because of limited desk space. So I'm going to be playing a point-and-click adventure game on a touchscreen without the touchscreen with a trackball mouse. I'm using a dead mouse. That's definitely old-fashioned, yeah. I've always hated I can understand, like, I like the ability to move the whole thing. The problem is, with such little desk space, they come in handy because I don't have enough room to move the entirety of it. Now, if I were going to play something that if I were, newer fashioned, and I were going to try and, play with reaction time, like I was going to play a Fortnite game or something, some other sort of MOBA or battle royale. Yeah, there's no way I would stand a snowball's chance with this thing. But with a point and click, it's not gonna, it shouldn't be that big of a deal. So, yeah. So let me kind of preface this a little bit. First, let me go ahead and say what I normally say at the beginning because I believe it so vehemently, and then I'm going to kind of get into some disclaimers and some explanations, and then I think we'll play. Or obviously, I'm always up for discussing a topic ahead of time because we do and have done that for a while, but it's completely up to you. This particular game has got a lot tied to it. So that's where the disclaimer and everything comes in. Before I get started, though, I want to go ahead and say, if you happen to see my stuff and I don't happen to be your speed, I'm not somebody that maybe you're not interested in the game I'm playing, maybe you don't like my stuff on the whole, you just kind of, there's a gem here and there for you, but you do kind of like the general vibe, it's just not all the way around your cup of tea, there are several channels I have down in my description that might be a little bit more your speed, of people that I wholeheartedly would endorse or state are phenomenal channels to watch. And this includes, but are not limited to, Omega Ace Gaming down below. Of course, Thumb Bros, who had a stream yesterday, which was really fun. I'm so sorry, Thumb, by the way, if you pop into this. I watched it, but I was playing games with my daughter, so I couldn't comment back and forth. And I apologize for that, but I did get to see some of it. I did get to catch some of it. I did kind of lurk, and I did obviously leave it like. So sorry about that. I know he's not that kind of guy where he's disappointed necessarily, but I wanted to give that apology ahead of it because, yeah, I got to see it. I just didn't get to interact very much, but it's okay. What if I don't like your stuff, but I'm being paid to be here? Well, firstly, obviously I know that's not the case, but if you don't like my stuff, don't take the money. No, and that does bring me to a point of loyalty and this and that. You don't have to be here. I like it when you're here. I like getting to talk with you guys. It's a great pleasure to have your company and your conversation. But I'm not one of those guys where if you leave and you don't come back and watch an entire series, where I'm going to have ill feelings. Do what you have to do. You got to live your life the way you want to. You got to spend your time the way you want to. It's the most precious currency, and it's the only one we don't get back. If you don't feel like it's being well spent here, you feel like it would be better spent elsewhere, do what's right for you. And if you happen to drop back in, you're welcome like you never left. Don't worry about it. That's an important point. I know you did that in the guise of a joke, but I do want to go ahead and use that to give an important point, and I appreciate that. Thumb Bros, though, Omega Ace Gaming, Ash, and I've got his channel link below. He has informed us per the last stream that there's going to be new stuff coming on a different link. Once I have information to that, hopefully you'll share it with me, Ash. I'll be happy to share it down below, but his stuff has been, in the past, some of my funniest and favorite stuff to watch. He did a comedy spoof on one that I watched tons of times myself. It only counts like 2, but I've watched it a ton of times. It's good stuff. It's really fun. And then, of course, Viddy's gaming videos and Viddy Plays, and my beautiful wife, the Siren Ivy, who's live right now. And if you happen to be looking for something more modern, more random, modern, upbeat, she does that. She's on Twitch. If you're looking for something a little bit more retro, calm, chill, something to relax, lurk, or sleep to, that's probably me. But I have fun. It's good money. Oh, £2.50 an hour, man. That's really nice. £2.50 an hour. Whole $10 for an average stream. Let's see. Crazy that we got 2 big hurricanes pretty close to where we are. Aren't they compatible to, or comparable to Katrina? Yes, they are. Katrina was I remember Katrina. My uncle actually helped with cleanup of Katrina, the aftermath of that. That was 2005, so yeah, he actually helped with a lot of that. And I think it was Category 3, and then you've got Helene and Milton, I think, and I think those were both about Category 3. They got downgraded, thank goodness, from a 5, but they got hit with 3. So I hope everybody's safe. I hope everybody's okay. I hope you guys aren't having ridiculous weather as a result of that. I know where we are, we've kind of gotten some wonky stuff. It's freezing. I mean, we're at the desert phase of where the days are really hot and the nights are really cold. We haven't yet moved over to full winter mode where everything is just freezing cold all the time. But I think that's probably exacerbated by the hurricane sweeping weather this way, coming from the west and coming from the east, and into the west. So excited for that, Ash. Oh, it's going to be good stuff. I'm excited about it too. Ash, as I'm sure most of you who have been in here have seen, I'm going to opine on this, but he's got a great sense of humor, and to see him be able to marry that with his, I think, very well thought out and very well articulated critical takes, and he and I have discussed things just behind the scenes and just kind of have an understanding of where things are. I like the way that he approaches things because it's kind of a genuine I am great, thank you. They got a lot of cleanup to do in Florida. Yes, I do too. I certainly do. And for anybody who's impacted by that, not necessarily directly, but yes. In all seriousness, appreciate it. Yeah, so I was going to say, I mean, it's really nice. Like, it's very genuine. It's not one of those things where I hate it because everybody else hates it. I love it because everybody else loves it. It always felt like, to me, it was like, I played the game and I enjoyed it. Here's what I enjoyed of it. So I really like it personally. And it's an approach I try to take, but I'm a little bit more circuitous perhaps about it. which isn't my intention. When I start actually putting stuff out on the Retro Review channel, now that I've decided, and you guys fueled that decision, by the way, that I am going to do it. It's going to be long form. It's going to be, I think, retrospective, and I'm going to try and find a way to just kind of tell you how much I did or didn't like it without being too cliche. That's the idea. It's going to cover most. I'm going to be honest. It's going to cover mostly retro, but because that's my wheelhouse, right? That's what I know about. But I'll review some of the newer stuff that I've either really disliked or really liked as well. So they'll probably be long form. I'd imagine the shortest one to be 45 minutes, and that's super retro, by the way. And then I imagine some of the newer stuff that's a lot more nuanced will be, I'm probably looking at a couple of hours. So videos aren't going to come out super consistently for that. I'm just going to give you a warning, but I do want to make them, so I'm going to work on them, and I'm not making any commitment other than I'm working on them now. That's the only commitment that I can make, but I am working on them. There was this one company that literally wouldn't let their employees leave the place until the floods got real bad. That made it real bad. Speaking of that, what really frustrated me, I was talking with a Floridian man day before yesterday. There are a lot of people that come over here from Florida that come, and I've been to Florida. There's a lot of cross-pollination, ironically, because our states are not touching at all. There's a great distance between them. It's really ironic how much cross-pollination we get from Florida here. Floridian sounds like something from, it kind of does, yeah. That's what it's, Florida, a lot of people say Florida man, which has become a meme. Florida man, which I think was made even more popular by the show Atlanta. But Floridian is technically the correct. It's kind of like a Texan or New Mexican. Floridian is how that's generally said. I think like 10 casualties were had. Yeah, and what really frustrated me is when I was talking to this gentleman, he was very, very nice. He had gotten out in time, but they raised the price. This is what really, really bothers me. Airliners raise the price of airplane tickets to get out of Florida. And I know that there's probably going to be a whole bunch of PR. Yeah, no, we have to because there's greater risk for the pilots. And so, of course there is. I'm not debating that there are risks affiliated with it, but when you are the only way for somebody to potentially safely get out of a place and you're raising your tickets to 3-4 times the original costs, that is a gouging, scalping practice. You know, I feel like maybe I'm wrong and maybe I wouldn't, maybe I couldn't because I'm not in that position. I would love to say if I had enough money and profitability that in times of emergency, I would just try to get people out of there. And I'd love to be subsidized in that way by the government. I'd love the government to subsidize me so that in the case of a declared emergency, that I had funds necessary just to evacuate people. But that's not how things work, sadly. Do not trust the Floridians. Their battle with the Jedi is still ongoing. Yeah, Floridian is that's the real thing for it though. It does sound that way though. I agree. 1 missing, 5 dead, 4 injured, if I remember correctly. So yeah, you've got a total of 10 issues for certain there. Hopefully the 4 that are injured are okay. The one that's missing hopefully is found okay. But I know how missing generally tilts towards not okay. Apologies for the bad vibes. I thought it was relevant to where we... No, that's fine. There's not such thing as bad vibes. To acknowledge bad things that go on in the world is not to bring bad vibes. We have to be aware of those types of things and offer our... Let me put something out there that may or may not be popular. I'm not sure, but when it comes to things that are happening that are objective fact that are bad, especially if they're relevant to you because you're closer to a circumstance or situation, I think that it's fine to get that off of your chest and to speak about that in an open forum. I've got no problem with it. And when it comes to issues that are maybe less life-threatening and that are more, like we've done this before, we've talked about socio-political, etc., and we talk about them loosely, obviously, to be respectful, but it's good to also talk about those with people that you respect or have a decent and candid conversation with people so that you can kind of push them up against the wall and see if they're any good. I do that all the time. I don't know if I'm right, but I'll have a conversation with somebody else and listen to what they have to say and determine, how I need to improve or reinforce, or maybe I need to change my position on something. So all of those are perfectly welcome here. Nothing's going to bring the mood down. This is a room for conversation. The mood is what it is, and it's fine, no matter what. Not a problem. No bad vibes allowed. Anyway, guys, I'm depressed. I hope not. I hope you're not depressed. I like those spaces. We'll talk about that for a second. I like the spaces that people are like, no bad vibes. No. But what is a more powerful space? A space that doesn't allow bad news to come in and is happy because they've created artificial happiness by not allowing true sadness? Or a place that can speak together on the sad things that are going on and still find happiness among it? I'm always depressed, but that's fine. Well, I'm sorry. I know that's not a laughing matter. I laugh because you have the thumbs up and are very casual about that, but I am sorry that happens to you. I know that's not fun. I laughed because you said something so dark. It's kind of like the anti-joke. I'm offended. Goodbye forever. I just hear the door slam, even though you're not here. No, it's because you say so. It's a perfect anti-joke because you say it. There's probably a hint of truth to it, but at the same time you say it casually and you have the little thumbs up, and so it was that. So please understand. Of course, I'm not going to. That would be sad. That would be sad. You and I have actually, again, I was talking to Thumb about this. I've talked to you about this. If you think about it, we've been, for lack of a better term, let's call it friends, because I think that's what it is. The reason I'm saying that in what sounds like audible quotation is because some people don't consider, long distance internet relationships to be friendships, but you and I and Thumb and Viddy, we've talked on and off, behind the scenes and not behind the scenes now, for going on almost 5 years, if you can believe it. About 2020, I think, is when we started. And don't know about that. Some people don't. Some people don't consider. The only reason I say that is some people don't consider that, friends. It's just kind of like, they're just faces online. The only reason I say it is because that's what I consider it. And again, we've talked here, we've talked voice to voice, we've talked, Discord message, and so it's a pretty good amount of contact. Honestly, it's been pretty awesome to get to bounce ideas off the wall and just talk about things. It's really nice, especially when everything was a lot more locked down. And it's just been really nice. And don't forget the ping and the skipping, the hand holding and the skipping. It's inevitable that bad vibes will follow bad news, but it's important to talk about these things, IMO. Well, I agree with you. I think that talking about the things and not allowing that to color the entirety of your day is it has much more utility than artificially creating a good environment by eliminating all of the bad, right? I think there's basically it's the difference between working out to become stronger and illicitly having everyone weaker than you poisoned. There's utility in becoming stronger. There's a coloration of cowardice in not making progress and using devious ways to eliminate that which is weaker than you. Or that which could overpower you. The point being is, it's a way to grow. The reason I say it that way is it seems like there's just so devious. It's such an uncomfortable. Yeah. Improving yourself and removing your competition. Yeah, there you go. That's a good way to make it much more concise than what I said. And that's the thing. To improve yourself, to be able to speak on the negative versus to eliminate it altogether. Especially when I've said this before, I believe the meaning of life is pain. And I don't want to sound sad or down to any of you who are younger, quite a bit younger than I am, which I think there are a fair few. But I don't believe that that's a negative thing. I think I think there's some, I can't remember the philosopher who said it. Was it Albert Camus? I can't remember. No, it wasn't. It was, oh shoot, what was his name? Not Kierkegaard. I can't think of his name. He was brilliant, and he was very taboo because he was so, he was considered so dark. But it wasn't darkness. It was actually brilliant. It wasn't Schopenhauer, maybe? No. Yeah, I think it was Schopenhauer. Sartre. It could be Churchill. Churchill was brilliant. Sartre is. No, I think it was. Don't get me wrong. I'm not just. I think it was Schopenhauer who said it. I'm gonna quote it, and then you guys can fact check me on it if you want to. But it was basically. I'm gonna summarize. But it was basically that moment. I thought you're. Oh yeah, no. That's a good. I didn't say that's a good point, Banjo. I didn't say the phrase. I just was trying to think of who said it first, so I didn't even give you guys a chance. That's a great guess. The phrase was, and I'm gonna paraphrase because I can't remember it exactly, but it was something to the effect of the pleasures in life, or the breaks in between the pleasures in life. Or the breaks in between pain were the times necessary to prepare for the next painful time. So basically, whenever you take a break and you're not experiencing active pain or loss or grief or sadness, that time is the time that you need to prepare for the next inevitable one of those things to come. The next loss. And it sounds really sad and depressing when you think about it. But in my mind, it isn't. It's such a great statement because it's kind of like when your village isn't being attacked, when the walls of your village aren't being attacked, then that's the best time to build your walls. And it's like, yeah, of course it is. It's just inevitable. So in the times you're not actively having those walls attacked, build your walls, thicken them, strengthen them, rebuild what was broken away. And then the next time, but what you notice, the consequence that comes of it, which isn't said, I think this is Schopenhauer, but what wasn't said is that if you do it right and you do it well, the next time that an attack comes up against those walls, it's not going to have the same effect. It's not going to be as effective. Not because you've become calloused, but because you've become strong. So, I really like it. I really like that thought. So that's my belief. So if you're younger, I want to be very clear. I hope it's not. What's this on about? Philosophy. I love philosophy. I'm no expert. I'm not brilliant. I just enjoy reading and perhaps misinterpreting people's stuff. But that's the way that I understood it. I love philosophy. Maybe I'm not good at it, but I like it anyway. The way that I understand it is nice. It's just for those that are younger, especially, like it's like don't let any single negative event, and people who are older too, who may not have thought this way, don't let any single negative event, no matter how big, be the event that breaks you. Spend the times in between building. Spend the times in between building so that when you are attacked, you can come back from it. And sometimes you might need help, and I think that's important too. Sometimes it is difficult to build walls on your own. For some people, it's more so than others. I think it's good to reach out to those people, professionals if you need them, friends and family if you don't, and maybe ask for help building your walls sometime. And I think this is a neat little forum to be able to do that if you make good enough friends that you feel like you can trust. And I don't think you should do that, but I'm going to be very clear. I don't think you should do that casually. Don't share it with everybody that you don't share it with anybody you don't trust. But I think this is a good forum to make good friends and good friendships, and be able to have those types of supports if you don't feel like you have anything else, especially. Who's attacking me? Are you threatening? No, not at all. Not at all. Hopefully that's the case. Hopefully, if there's a time in the in between and you need help building your walls, hopefully somebody here that you've developed a good relationship with will help you build those walls or help you talk about finding people who could. Silent Hill 2 Remake is great, by the way. I want to play it so bad. I can't. So I saw a digital, I saw that they were doing it digitally. I have not seen any physical copy. I want it. It's PS5, PC right now, I believe. I definitely want it on PS5. It looks like it was digital all the way through. I couldn't find anything physical about it, and I really am frustrated about that because I don't want to buy it digitally. But I want to play it super badly. I love Konami. Capcom does horror really well, but if there's anyone who could do horror as good as Capcom, it's Konami. I mean, the Castlevania Kings versus... you've got Resident Evil versus Silent Hill. Like, you got to duke that out a little bit. It's so good. Also, well said. Oh, thank you. Just me thinking and philosophizing. And again, I'm not brilliant enough to philosophize. In all seriousness, take what I say with a grain of salt. There are many more brilliant people here now and who have long since passed that say much of what I've said better. And there's no idea I'm having that's unique. It's just me processing them. I love philosophy. They do a physical version? Okay, I couldn't find one, and I tried. I could not find one, so I need to drop into... I've got a game store here that kind of deals in a little bit of everything. I'll see if they can find one for me, because I want to play it really badly. I love Silent Hill, so I want to try that. The atmosphere and the sound design is amazing. We'd love to do a one-off podcast episode. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. That's those are the juggernauts of modern gaming horror, I think, in most cases, are the Silent Hill franchise and the Resident Evil franchise. So, yeah, I definitely want to do that. I want to play it. I do have the remastered version, the old one, and then I also had picked up So my favorite Silent Hill game is not actually 2 like everybody else's in the world, and I understand why theirs is 2. I'm just weird. 2 is phenomenal, and I'm not talking about the remake. Again, I don't know, but I know the classic was great. Mine is Shattered Memories, which ironically is, I think, on the PS2, but I have it on the Wii, and I love the Wii. Even the Wii version is just so good. It's so good. They do a physical... Okay, it is cool how Resident Evil, Dead Space, and Silent Hill all received great remakes. That's true. Great. Dead Space was... I remember when Dead Space was first coming out. I remember Dead Space 2, I think, the YourMotherWillHateThis.com website, and I thought it was great. It was so funny to watch the reaction of these, like, visceral wounds, just insane disembowelings happening in front of them. The holy trinity of horror games to you. It's Dead Space is... I'm going to be clear, I don't put Dead Space on the same pedestal as Resident Evil and Silent Hill as franchise. I know you did that with individual games, and I think that's perfect. Resident Evil's got a great run. 1's good, 2's good, 3's good, 4 is great, 5 is 6 is 7's good, 8 is phenomenal. Silent Hill's kind of similar, but I think Silent Hill has a lot of hits. Like there's Homecoming and Downpour got, I think, a bad reputation for no good reason, and those are really good. 2's awesome, 1's great, 3 is, and then what is and Shattered Memories. Shattered Memories is so good. Just really, really good. Oh, and Resident Evil Gaiden was actually a lot of fun, too. If you've not played Resident Evil Gaiden, it's a lot of fun. I might play it on the channel some point. I've got a way to do it. I played... Gaiden was fun. It's not that... I don't think it's that interesting to watch, necessarily, but I had fun with it, and there's a song in it that I think is really cool. And it was for the Game Boy Color. It's kind of hard to come by now. I picked mine up from a friend for like $10 years ago. Yeah, Shattered Memories is my favorite out of all of them. I really, really like that one. It is interesting. I know Resident Evil 4 is action horror, but there's nothing wrong with action horror. I mean, especially the good example of that, again, with 4 also being, or with 8, excuse me, is they do a good job of making you feel helpless in some places, right? So like in 8, you feel like you have all of the weapons and yet none of the control. And then there's one part, and again, I won't spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it yet, but I know the game is at this point, 4 years old. There's a point where control is gone. You don't feel like you have any, and I want to be very clear, I'm not going to specify anything, but I will say that DLC, in terms of taking control away, there's a part in the game where they do it even better than the core game did. It is really, really good. And the DLC is really good too. It's short. It's kind of short, but I think it's perfectly worth the money. That's how I feel about Soul Calibur as a franchise. I like it, but it's nowhere near the level of Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter. But Soul Calibur is a singular game, my favorite fighting game of all time. Yeah, for me, Mortal Kombat is more interesting to me. The more recent ones more so than the older ones in this case, because the controls I think were very stilted, whereas Soul Calibur had fairly solid controls all the way through. Soul Calibur, I like Mortal Kombat more than I like Soul Calibur, the recent iterations. Soul Calibur's older iteration, I'd say 4, is probably the apex, the absolute apex for me, and then I'm infinitely more interested in those than Street Fighter personally. I like Shattered Memories, by the way. I like every mainline Silent Hill game in some form or another. Just never heard of any say that it's their yeah, that's my favorite. Soul Calibur is a near perfect game. It is really good. If I had to pick another horror game that I think deserves to be in a trinity of horror franchises, not just games individually, I'd probably put the Fatal Frame games up there. I think very highly, at least of the classics, right? I think very highly of the classic Fatal Frame games. I think those are really, really good. If you've never played Fatal Frame, there are still Fatal Frame games coming out, I think. I think Wii U had one called Black Swan or Mirror or something like that. But anyway, it was Fatal Frame, then that subtitle. I played a little of it. It was okay. It wasn't great, but the classic Fatal Frames 1, 2, and 3 on PlayStation 2, which is a console I don't have a phenomenal amount of history on with, but that is some of the history I have with it. That's a good one. I've yet to play Alone in the Dark reboot that released this year too. Sad, as though it didn't meet expectations. The studio was shut down. Alone in the Dark is hard to redo because the classic is so, in my opinion, it's so iconic. The classic came out, for anybody who's not familiar with Alone in the Dark, the original Alone in the Dark came out in the early 90s, and it was this red-haired, red-mustachioed man named Edward Carnby, and they tried to reboot it in 2008, I think, and I played that one, and that was clunky, but I loved it. And then they tried to reboot it again, and I think with one of the big actors that played in the Black Widow movie. What is his name? Son of a gun. I can't think of his name, but anyway, he's a great actor. Harbour. David Harbour? Yeah, David Harbour. Question, have you played Wii? Oh, I love Wii. Are you kidding me? Yes, I love. So I've actually made it a habit to buy all of those games. So Wii Sports Resort, Wii U Sports I have on disc, and I actually have bought Switch Sports, and I love those games. It's just so, those are so good. And they're so happy and upbeat. And quick assertion for a moment. Wii Music, Wii Sports Music, Wii Sports Resort, Wii Menu Music, Wii eShop Music, that will ring in the heads of everyone who had one of those consoles for the rest of your life. The Mii Maker, the console, it doesn't matter whether you were a kid and grew up with it or whether you were whether you were a kid and grew up with it or whether you were an adult. I wasn't a kid when the Wii came out, and it still just sticks perfectly in my head. I love it. Yes, I love Wii Sports. I played Wii Sports. No, I didn't. I either played Wii U Sports or Switch Sports on this channel before. Tried to do it with a boom microphone. Didn't work the way I wanted it to, but I'm working to try and make that better. It's so good though. Influenced pretty much everything. Yeah, it did. The tank controls, the sword fighting, all of that. There was another game that came out too. I will say this: there was another game that came out in either early '90s or late '80s called. Oh, and it came out for the NES, for the Nintendo. And it was the major influencer for Resident Evil, I believe. I think it was the major inspiration for it, and I can't think of it. Sweet Home, I think it was. Something like that. But anyway, that game, also super fun. Didn't come out in America, though. Yeah, Sweet Home, yeah. That's a really good game. Yeah, Sweet Home. Yeah, you got it, Banjo. I'm sorry, you got it before. Yeah. If you've not played that game's it's not scary. It's got some creepy stuff. The music's kind of creepy, and there's some characters in there that look creepy. There's some characters that look creepy. There we go. That game's good, though. It's really fun, and it's inventory management also. It's really good, though. There is one that was like, they actually had a creepy scene. Like, if your character dies, they like splat in a puddle of their own blood. And you're talking about on the Nintendo. I mean, it's crazy. Have you bought the amazing Nintendo alarm clock for 100? I saw it. I kind of want it, but I can't. Being married makes that difficult. If I were by myself, it's supposed to like monitor your sleep. It's supposed to shut itself off when you get up. It's supposed to be thematic. You can theme it. It's going to have additional downloadable themes. It's going, like, there are a lot of things it does. It monitors your sleep. It makes, when you move, it makes noise. Like, I think it's kind of cool. I really do. But I'm married, and I have to get up far earlier than my wife does. And so, because I have to get up so much earlier than my wife does, I don't want that to be a burden for her. She looked at it and she was like, I don't even care. And I was like, I understand. I'm not going to subject you to it, but I might get it. I might get it for our daughter. She might like it. She's very, very Nintendo heavy. She's very into Nintendo Pokemon, and so she might. I don't know the first thing about any of that. I've had a Wii for several years, but I'm going to play Wii Sports. Oh my goodness, you've got to. It's so good. If you get Wii Sports is fantastic. I think the most popular, obviously, is the bowling. I like Wii Sports Resort, which has shot up in price recently. Wii Sports Resort actually added like disc golf, frisbee golf, basically, which is super fun. And it's the sword fighting, and then when you get up to like the Switch Sports, it's got like Chambara, which I think is also in Resort. Sword fighting, oh man, I'm so excited for you. I already know a lot about it. Yeah, it's just like I am excited to see you play it. If you haven't played it yet, it's one of those few games where I don't think you could review it as bad. Maybe it's not your speed, but it's just pure. Doesn't matter story, doesn't matter link. It's just about having fun. This is what I think Nintendo does almost better than anyone else, if not better than anyone else. The stream is messing with me. I keep thinking it's. Yeah, I'm sorry. No, it's Saturday. You've got a whole other day off tomorrow. Sweet Home. Oh, yeah, okay. I'd already read those. Sorry. Banjo had beat me to it, by the way, so I very much appreciate you for that. I want to get a repro cart of Sweet Home. I have the ROM. It didn't release here in America, so I want to get a repro for it because I have played it and I like it. But the only way for us to play it is through English patch emulation. Some of my Wii discs got scratched, so I can't play those anymore. Oh, I'm sorry. Like Smash Bros on the Wii U. Oh, that's the worst. Smash Bros on the Wii U is. It's really difficult. That's a quick question, though. It's really difficult. Wii U games were actually made to be harder to scratch, kind of like a Blu-ray disc is. So I wonder how that happened. One thing, side note too. Does anybody? I'm weird, right? I'm a very tactile person when it comes to games. I like to touch and feel the games, right? Has anyone noticed how really awesome the edges of a Wii U disc are? They're rounded instead of like jagged. This is so comfortable. I love it. I'm a tactile person when it comes to games. There's something really really nice about holding a cartridge or a disc in some cases, right? But a cartridge especially. Like my Final Fantasy copy for the original Nintendo has like a burn mark in it. It works fine, right? But it has a little burn mark in the top part of it, and I don't care. The game works perfectly. I don't need to worry about it. These little pieces of history are so nice. It's part of me, like I said, being the retro room. It's about the people. It's about the conversation. But there is an element of the chronicling and the keeping of a library of games that may not come back, right? There are a lot of lost gems that I was talking with Thumb about this. There are a lot of great lost gems that we haven't played and that aren't coming back. Totally rad. Really fun game. Probably never going to come back. What's another really good, we talked about, Journey to Silius, or Silas, I don't know how it's pronounced, but like probably not coming back, but it's a really good game. I mean, just super good, so I don't know. You want it? Oh man, they've got you. Metal Jesus has a new video on how expensive collect. Yes, yeah. I like Metal Jesus a lot. He seems such a sweet, just kind of down-to-earth guy, and he's not wrong. I started, and he did too. He's ex-Sierra. He started, a long time ago also, but like, I started collecting, thankfully, decades ago. Otherwise, I would have been in trouble. I wouldn't have been able to have the collection I have. It's just getting absolutely ridiculous. Especially there was a spike in the GameCube market, and that still stayed expensive. But now we're starting to see the Wii games kind of creep up there, which I thought we had more time before that was going to happen. And then Wii U, because it's such a limited library, has just gone and shot up in some like Devil's Third, which I got my copy around when it came out for $60, is now I think trending at like between $200 and $300 or something like that for a complete copy. And I'm just like, this is insane. So, but the Sweet Home Repro wouldn't cost me anything because you can't collect an American copy. One doesn't exist. So that'll be cheap just because it has to be a repro. It'll be like $15-20 maybe. Just a long time of owning. Yeah, that happens. When you have stuff, it's inevitable. The sun's going to hit it, or it's going to get lost. It happens. I really miss manuals. Oh, me too. I liked when you go into the PS1 and you just read about the blood types of the Tekken characters, and that was supposed to mean something, right? But there were other ones that came in with big and I'm going to give an advert here in a minute on these guys again because I have been doing that, but like Witcher came with a manual that actually is a full guide to getting acclimated to the world and understanding what the difference between Nilfgaard and Temeria and Redania and all of that are. And I think that's really cool. I like those that would give you a book on like the world building. Like the first 10 pages were about the characters and the moves, and then the last 20 pages were about the world, and then a couple of notes pages and stuff. But there's a guy who makes manuals for new games. Really cool. That is neat. That's a really cool service. I have no clue how this happened, but my copy of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe couldn't be read by my Switch, so I had to get another copy. Oh, that's weird. Cartridges usually don't fail like that. That's really interesting. Huh. The little cartridges, I was going to say that the old cartridges used to have, you had certain copies that had batteries in them, right? Like Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past is a good example. Earthbound, I think, has one. Have button cell batteries in them. If the button cell battery failed, then your save game would fail. But new cartridges pull so little power, they don't actually have to have a battery to do that. It's just kind of like an SD card in a bigger, more proprietary case, or a USB. So, in one that's bittered to taste nasty. Don't lick Switch cartridges, but that was a big deal when they first came out, that they put bittering agents on them to keep people from putting them in their mouths. But I've had times where I've had to switch boxes, and I'll have two boxes in my hand, and I'll have to place the cartridge in between my lips, and that bittering agent comes right off, and it's nasty. I mean, if I really was adamant about eating it, the bittering agent wouldn't be the thing that stopped me. It'd probably be the giant piece of plastic, but I get it. I watched a Game Grumps highlights of Devil's Third, and it was really funny what they did with it. Yeah, I've seen their Devil Third play. I didn't see a highlights read, but I remember when they were first coming out with that. I liked their Wii U era. I like the Game Grumps. I'm a bigger fan of the old stuff when they were playing mostly Super Nintendo and Nintendo, Sega Genesis games, mostly Nintendo, Super Nintendo. I'm a much bigger fan of those, like Danny with Punch Out, the Mega Man, JonTron. They did some Nintendo 64. JonTron and them did Banjo-Kazooie. I like that era a lot better. I can relate a lot more with those eras than I can with some of the newer stuff. And right now they're trying kind of the newer trendy stuff like Supermarket Simulator. I get it. It's not my cup of tea. I get it. But Devil's Third was kind of, I think, the perfect medium because it was somewhat newer, but it was also in the retro style of Nintendo just making ridiculous games. And it's good. It's really good. I like that one. This is off topic, and I know I'm always talking about this, but I really miss writing about games. Might try and start a Substack again. You should. I would love to. We talked about maybe even working on like co-writing or something like that. I think at one point, and having guest contributions or whatever. Like, do it. And if you decide you want to collaborate on that, let me know. I love to write. I do it anyway, so I don't write publicly, but I journal pretty well daily, so I'd love to do it. Or at least I'd love to read your stuff, even if you're not looking to collaborate. They made that for a reason the kids don't eat. Yeah, I know. It's just, I think it's a silly thing that was such a phenomenon. Like, that was such a big, in 2017, I remember, they taste so nasty. Why are you eating them? But I can understand it. So, stop selling games, eat food, you silly son. Stop eating games, I meant, yeah. Do you like JonTron era or Danny era? It depends. It depends. Like, I like both of them differently. JonTron, I know you're asking retro, but JonTron. I think on the whole, JonTron, yeah. I think I like the JonTron era better. I think JonTron's a brilliant comedian. If you've seen his channel, he's hilarious. He's just one of my favorite ones, and he's done recent, like he goes off of it instead of doing the video. Like, I love his video game reviews. Like, he did a Pokemon one. Again, I know nothing about Pokemon, and I laughed at this. The Hercules one is one of my favorites. The Nintendo, remember Hercules does what Nintendo Hercules. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what the... Let's see, hold on one second. Okay, I would... you'll have to forgive me, I'm not well versed in Cyrillic, in the Cyrillic languages, so I don't think that I'm probably ideal to have read those, but welcome in nonetheless. My apologies. SEGLEB, so Segleb, I guess is how you would say that. I like Danny because that's when I first started watching. Yeah, Danny started in 2012, I think, or 2013, and like they did I think his first one was Punch Out, and I like Danny's sense of humor. Danny's a great comedian. He's a fairly soft comedian, which is to say that he's kind of, it's the gentility, I think, that kind of adds some charm to him. But he's been with the channel now for like 10 or 11 years, and there have been also, he's been subject to more misses too, right? So like, there are a lot of game series that they play that are not his fault, but like, it's just not my cup of tea. And then they're also kind of having the lazy sessions where they'll kind of sit back and they're not talking about being funny. And I'm like, well, I could have played the game. So I like Danny a lot, but the JonTron era felt like two friends sitting down and just playing games and saying whatever the heck they wanted to say. And there's something really special about that though too. So... Hasn't Danny been with Game Grumps far behind the time? John was only with Game Grumps for about a year and a half. Danny's been with him for now going on 11 years. So yes. Funny how JonTron was only in Game Groups for like 2 years, and they talk about it as Danny, who has been around for a lot longer. Not that era wasn't less important to the channel. Well, JonTron, and the thing about it, my understanding, and again, I'm not trying to get super, not beyond, is JonTron and Aaron were friends who just wanted to play games, record it, and they happened to monetize it. I think the breakup, the quote-unquote breakup, the reason that it happened was because JonTron wanted to do his own thing and Game Grumps be a side project. Aaron was trying to move out of artistry and into Game Grumps being his full-time job, and John and he didn't align there, I don't think. And so I think that's what led to them deciding to go their own ways. And I don't know how, I don't think it was a messy, I mean, it probably was to some extent kind of messy, but I'm fairly certain that was mostly the personal side. I'm sure it was probably business-wise fairly amiable. And then JonTron went off and did his thing. And JonTron will drop a movie, or not a movie, excuse me, a video like every 6 or 8 months, and it'll get 5 million views. And Game Grumps will drop a video every day, and it'll get 300,000 views. So I think that there's utility to both of their approaches. But I like the JonTron, like, let's just be genuine, put stuff out when it comes out, that kind of thing. I like that. Danny's great, though. And I like their bands, too. I like NSP, I like Starbomb. So Danny's good. People have nostalgia chat. That's true. The JonTron one felt like old YouTube because it was literally just, yeah, they would say, and granted, I'm not saying he didn't say stuff that maybe you don't want to say on YouTube, but it just felt like that there were two friends playing video games. Now it's too big for me. There's still good stuff that comes. They did one recently, a horror game that was like, I'm not a human, I'm something else, and that's been funny. That's been cool. That's true. Game Grumps feels more like a company. It definitely does, and it definitely is too. To be fair, yeah, you're spot on. It's just gotten to be too big. There's more charm to playing a game. Like, I don't want to feel like a company, right? Even if I become a company, if I were to become a company that does something fun, it's based on the principle of being fun first, and the company's just the side note. I think they've switched that to where being fun is a byproduct of there having to be a company, and that really robs you of your comedy in a lot of cases. I feel like I can tell in some of their episodes more recently where they are, I'm not going to, for lack of a better term, calling it in, phoning it in. It's just kind of like they're sitting there and they feel lazy and they just are like, I got to do this. This is my 6th recording session of the day, but I have to, and that takes the fun out of it for me too. Whereas I go back and I watch old JonTron, he and Aaron playing Kirby, and it's just the two friends yelling at a Russian microphone put in the middle. And that microphone was I'm not being funny. That was an actual Russian-made microphone in the middle of the room. Very, very good microphone too. I don't happen to have one, but it's a really I mostly use German microphones. Let's see. Same thing happened with Rooster Teeth. Same thing, Giant Bomb. Same thing with yeah. Rooster Teeth with old style red versus blue versus whatever is coming out today. Yeah, I agree. They all get too big. All I do is watch podcast. All I watch now are podcasts and long form retrospective videos, and that's really nice. Danny has been on 11 years. Yeah, he's and he's got to get tired too on this too, because you got to think about Danny's 40. He's in his mid 40s now. He's doing this and he's funny. One of the things that I like watching the Grumps a little bit more when they're on live television. They're in front of the camera doing silly stupid. They went to Ren Fair this last week. That's fun. I think that's fun. But they're also doing it once a week, and it's not, I don't need something every 5 seconds, right? I just, he's a lot. He's not. Well, he's older than Aaron. Is he a lot? Because I think Aaron's 38. Aaron's 38. So I think the difference. I think the age. Well, yeah, I guess he's pretty close. The age difference is, I think, 8 years between them. So Rooster Teeth are gone now. Yeah. And then JonTron, I think, is 33 or 34. So like. But JonTron doesn't. It's not just that he's young or youthful, but he's not burning himself out. Like JonTron came out with a video called "Surviving Edged Weapons." It's literally just his review on these like police videos from the 1980s, I think, or 90s, about surviving an edged weapon. Right? It's one of my favorites. He did the Howling 2. It's hilarious. The safety video one. The safety video one was great. Like, why do you have 3 barrels of hydrofluoric acid, sir? Oh, this is a Wendy's. Like, silly stuff. The Steven Seagal videos. Yeah, that one is fantastic too. What was the other one he did? Oh, the Howling 2. I love the Howling 2. Your Sister is a Werewolf. That with Sir Christopher Lee. Dark Dungeons he did, which was a D&D style like chick track movie. He finds really good stuff. There are a couple of them that I've been like, I don't care as much about, but like when I say a couple, I mean maybe 1 or 2. Most of his are really good. People say now that they like Danny and Aaron's chemistry in Game Grumps, and now instead of two chaotic people, it's one chaotic person and one sane person keeping it. There's definitely a good chemistry. I want to be very clear about that. There's definitely a really cool chemistry with Aaron and Danny, and Danny is endearing in that way because Aaron will go off his nut, and Danny will come back and be like, "Hey, man, it'll be okay." Like I do love. I like. If I had to pick, and I'm not trying to be rude when I say this, when I've had to pick between all of the comedians, JonTron I'd probably pick as a comedian. I think is probably the clearest. I think he's probably the most comedically gifted. I'm not espousing anything aside from his comedy right now. I'm not evaluating anything except for the comedy. He's pretty funny. I think he's probably the funniest. But if I had to pick someone whose attitude I like the best out of all of them, it's kind of, Danny's just kind of, yeah, man, like very gentle, very soft, very supportive. I like that. And Aaron being like, those are some of the ones I like the most. Like there was one of them was really fun, Dead or Alive, and it was like Aaron's trying to get a girlfriend in the anyway, and he's crying and he's spent all his money and the girls aren't accepting him or whatever in the game, and Danny's like, it's gonna be okay, it's just, there is something endearing about that I very much like. Danny's solo Space Quest videos are awesome because it's just a person playing a game pretty simple. Oh yeah. No, Danny's Sierra games are that's one of my favorite playlists. And I actually liked it when he was with Ross during Steam Train. Like his Sierra games there, he did Leisure Suit Larry 1, 6, King's Quest 5, and 6. And then he did Leisure Suit Larry Magna Cum Laude, which is a terrible, terrible game that nobody should ever play, but it's there. And then his solo ones, he did Space Quest, and he did King's Quest, and with Aaron he did Space Quest 5, I think. And then solo he did Space Quest 1, 2, and 3, and he did King's Quest 3, which I think is his favorite. And he got married too, which I'm like 3 years ago. Oh, and he did Gabriel Knight. He did Gabriel Knight, which I think is where he first announced he got married. That was like 3 or 4 years ago. I think if I were lucky enough to make a living off of YouTube, I'd do what John does, just drop a dumb video every 6 months. That's as much traction as he gets with that. It's definitely showing that quality is outmeasures quantity. He's a multi-millionaire who drops one gem every, like you said, 6 months, gets millions of views, millions of likes, and then he's gone again. And I think he spends all of that. I bet you he spends almost all of that time working on his next stuff. I'm sure it's just high quality, I love those moments. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. Danny, like I said, I like Danny a lot. I don't ever want it. I don't know why, but it had to become for some reason, everybody wanted to make it into like a battle. They're like, which one's the best? Which one's? It's like everyone's good at their own thing. It's not a versus in that regard. If I had to make it a versus, I have my choices, but each of my choices are informed from different things that I value. A multimillionaire, man, me, you, and what? Where did you find that winning form? But I'm gonna opine on that too. The winning formula may be simple. It's still a battle. It doesn't need to be. Sorry, my throat dries. I have my green tea with honey. I think the winning formula is. I think maybe I'm gonna say something that sounds sad, but maybe the winning formula is being genuine. Maybe the winning formula. In John's case, he's being silly. He's a comic. He's writing jokes, but he's doing it on subject matter that he's actually interested in. He's not putting something to ride a trend. Like, he put a Steven Seagal video out, and then Steven Seagal videos started to become popular. He didn't do it because they were becoming popular. He did it, and then 2 years, 3 years after he did it, Steven Seagal videos became popular. I spent a day with Steven Seagal, or what did Steven Seagal do, or why does he only fight while setting down now? Those all became popular. Most of those, at least as far as I could tell, became popular after him. So what he does is he takes what he's interested in and he thinks will be interesting to the general populace, and then he does that. And so I kind of think that's what our formula should be, is just let's do what we're interested in genuinely and to the best of our ability without thinking of anything else. You know, what is going to be interesting for us to talk about and what will people be interested to hear about? And let's do that as best as we can. And I think, again, I'm not going to say, oh, we make money, but that's not the goal. The goal is those two things I just mentioned before, and doing those as best we can. And, who knows where it'll go. That's why part of me wants to do some comedic game videos again, but I'm so 50-50 on whether to do it. I love games and I love making. I think you should. I mean, you have a gift for comedy. I don't. I lack it. I think it's something I would do if I were funny, but I'm not. What little vestiges of comedy I may possess are not going to stack up to someone vested in it, well versed in it, like you or a JonTron or a Danny for that matter. So, yeah, I think you should. Obviously, don't do it if you don't feel like doing it. But if my word means anything and you were on the fence, legitimately teetering, I would ask that you consider it perhaps a little more heavily on the side of yes than no. Oh my goodness. I like talking. This is good stuff. This is stuff I like talking about. Just game industry, but we're not talking about, oh, everybody's terrible in this. It's like, hey, we all like Game Grumps. We all like the JonTron, or we all like some aspect of it. And we're diverse on where we go from our base, or where we all, again, I was watching Game Grumps back. One of my favorite episodes, and one of the favorite episodes was JonTron and Aaron and Grant Kirkhope, the very first guest Grumps, which I think happened in 2012. And I had heard that one I came back from work, and I put I had gotten the notification for it, the equivalent of a notification. It just popped up and I was like, and I listened to that, and it's hilarious. That's my favorite episode. It's hilarious. Grant Kirkhope is brilliant, though, too. I mean, in all ways. He's also hilarious. He's super funny. In addition to being a remarkable composer, and he's a great guitar player. He Family Jewels, and he did the Banjo-Kazooie Final Battle theme together, and they just both electric guitars, and Grant Kirkhope is a really great guitarist also. Like, uncannily good. It's kind of like not knowing who Danny Elfman was, only knowing Danny Elfman as a composer, and not knowing that he was a part of Oingo Boingo, Grant is just on the... Oh, yeah, no, he's great. He's got a great sense of humor, though. He's... I think he lives in California. I think he said he lived in Magora Hills, though, so he's in California. But, yeah. I can see why people like JonTron, but I do... And there's nothing wrong with that. There's going to be nostalgia, and there's also going to be things that you just pull out of it that you like better. Like, again, Danny seems a little bit more... He's very chill. He's very calm. And that's got a great appeal too. He's not as manic. Like John liked to do a lot of yelling, and yeah, I can understand that. Danny's a lot softer on, and his comedy can be a little bit. So in some instances, Danny's very. I will say this: Danny's off the cuff comedy is almost unrivaled. There are some things that he will just come up with in the spur of the moment that are, in my opinion, brilliant. Like he was talking about, I guess was his Mario 3 playthrough, and he ran off, and he's like, "I apologize, I couldn't stop my awesome Mario Mentum." Like that's a brilliant little portmanteau to make. So he's a great comic. He's a great comedian. So I understand that. I understand that completely. I like Danny. Some of my favorite episodes are also in the Danny era, right? I love Defenders of the Crown is one of my favorites, and it's a more recent. I think it's only 6 years old, or 5 or 6 years old. Defenders of the Crown, I love a lot. Again, I love the Steam Train stuff. I love him and Ross playing Skyrim. I love the classic stuff that he and Aaron played. Again, Punch Out. They played Mario 2, Mario 3, Super Mario World. They played Sunshine. They played 64. All of their Mario games are good. So there's a lot that I love from the Danny era too. But I just, on the whole, the longer you do it, the more that's going to become a smaller and more insignificant piece. So over the course of 11 years, now I have to look at, out of 11 years, how much of it do I like? and I can compile it down to maybe 4 or 5 total years that I'm like, I really like that. So that's 50%. Whereas JonTron, I liked a year out of it, and he was only there for a year and a half. That's 66.6%. So even by a mathematical point, it's kind of like, I have to be fair. But I get it either way. I mean, you could tell me your favorite episodes are the Susie episodes, and I'd be like, okay, that's cool. Yeah, it wouldn't bother me. He's overlooked as a millionaire man. He's overlooked as a guitar player. That's back to the Grant Kirkhope thing, yeah. A millionaire man. What am I doing with life? Being like everybody else. Millionaires aren't common. They're not a dime a dozen. So I hate that. That's one thing I hate about the internet, is the internet tries to fool you into believing everybody's a millionaire or a billionaire, or they're some successful random influencer, or this and that and the other, and we're not, and that's not how it works. It's always worked the same way. There are two things, right? Firstly, millionaires are not very common, and secondly, for the millionaires that are around, $1 million isn't what it used to be either. So, I would definitely smile more right now as a millionaire, though. You're right about that. I always wonder that, right? If I were a millionaire, would I smile more, or would I be more miserable? I don't know. I don't know if the money is really going to make a big impact for me on that. Maybe financial security will offer me less stress, but I already don't stress about things very much. I don't really care. No matter what, I will survive, or I won't. And if I survive, then I've done well. And if I don't survive, then I won't know that I didn't. Most likely. So I'm kind of one of those kind of guys. It's hard to get me stressed. Yeah, you read about the other. Well, that's my thing. Technically, none of us are surviving. It just depends. Like, I just don't stress. I just don't care all that much. Not that I don't care about talking with you, and I don't care. Not saying that. It's just like, that's what we're here to do. We're here to solve problems, and there are problems, right? And if we're really good at it, or if we believe we're good at it, we'll solve the problems. We'll figure it out. Life is never life isn't meant to be easy, but it's also not meant to be unbearable. And whatever comes my way, I'll figure it out. Maybe it'll be stressful in that moment, but again, I'll figure it out. What's 2 plus 2? Depends on the math. If you're talking about arithmetic, then the answer is 4. But if you're talking about ternary, then I believe the answer is 11. Obviously, 2 plus 2 is 22. You're being silly. If you read 2 plus 2 backwards, it actually spells... Brought it back. 2 plus 2 most of the time is 4. Almost always 4. 2 plus 2 in ternary is 11. So, just gonna throw that out there for you. Let me take a look. I just got a message. I gotta check everything out and see how things are. Okay. Sorry, I got some messages. I'm just checking things out. Okay, there we go. Everyone is non-binary nowadays. Don't know who's a what and why. Actually, that's not true. I mean, I know what you're getting at, but that's the thing, is there's no such thing as non-binary in any case, because the minute you are or aren't, that's the binary. So a non-binary person may say that they're not in binary and they're talking about male or female. Okay, fair enough, fine. But now you're a different binary, right? You're now non-binary, or you aren't. So you're still a binary. You're always a binary, just so you know. Everybody is. I'm not trying to make fun. I just want to be very clear. I'm not trying to make fun of anybody. I know what they mean colloquially. I'm just pointing out a random silly fact that you were always a part of a binary. That one's specific to a binary, but yeah, you're always a binary. You're always either yes or no on something. You're not, I mean, you can be maybe, right? But maybe is still going to have a leaning. Isn't 2 plus 2 in binary something different? Most likely, yes. Because you have an understanding underlying 2. Ternary is binary is different, and then binary, ternary, and what is it? Quaternary? Quaternary, I think, is the next one. Any of those are, yes. 2 cats and 2 plus equals 2 cats. That's true. What well done in that regard. That's yeah. That's a great way to do that, actually. Is that because cats told the mice to please leave the homes? Very politely. Stop DMing me about Star Wars. I wasn't DMing you about Star Wars. It's actually important. It was very peaceful. Non-binaries are floating in the space between, man, on those good drugs. I'll make fun of everyone. Tag me. No, I'm just saying, like, you're always a part of it. In terms of binary, you're always a part of a binary, whether you want to or not. Yeah, you are. I am, right? I can choose not to be a part of a specific binary or tell them that I'm not, but then I have created a new binary that I'm now a part of on one side or the other. There's just no ethereal space where you can switch and not be a part of a binary in something. As far as I'm aware, at least. When presented a yes or no question, you can always answer mu. You can always answer mu, the Greek letter mu. You could answer oui like a French fellow. UI? I mean, I guess you could. Remember when the French were cool and inspirational? You're so hard on the French, Ash. Yeah, you could. Or way, if you want to, which is just yeah. We is yes, and then way is yeah. Same, so as we kind of do yes and yeah. So, the language is pretty, too. It's the loosest, I think, language in the Latin branch, but yeah, that's my thing. Like, I'm not trying to be rude and say I have any problem with anybody's wanting to. I was saying this the other day too. I don't care how you want to identify. That doesn't bother me. Identify the way you want to. Just let's be nice about it. Some people aren't going to agree with you. Some people are going to be rude. Just disengage. Don't try to make it a new cult. Don't try to make it a new movement or belief or religion. Just let it go. See what happens. And that's where I get frustrated. Right? Just I have people in my life that identify alternatively, and we get along just fine because they're not trying to force me to do anything. They're just identifying alternatively. That's fine with me. I can respect that. I don't hate them, really. They're just hilarious with their baguettes and surrender. They're just silly with their little berets and black and white striped shirts that don't go all the way down to the wrist. I'm not being a stereotype at all. No, it's what's funny though, as far as the surrender became such a big thing for them, right? Like such a big and in America we actually had a pretty good, like the French actually did do a fair amount of battle here, and decently well, might I add. But they are really good. Again, they're really good at some stuff like nowhere else in the world. Like French bakeries are a great example of that. The culinary arts are richer for the French by a long shot. Now, granted, there are some misses for some people on there. Like I know that there are a lot of people that don't like escargot, but on the whole, the French have some great, and there's great influence down here where we are as well. I mean, again, I live in a state where people still speak French. People speak English, French, Spanish, and German. High German and Low German too, actually, both. So, but like I live in a state that all four of those are spoken fairly commonly. So the French actually still have a great impact in a really positive way. pretending they never did anything. They ever did anything of importance. They've done a lot of important things. I know where you're getting that, but like, yeah, I prefer Middle German myself. Oh, I don't know how to say middle in German. How do you say middle in German? I can't think of it. I can't think of middle in German right now. My German is eh. My German is eh. So, I'm working on it, but my German is eh. That's not at all what it is. I was talking with a friend about that too the other day. It is crazy how many words there are in French or in German, both, that don't have a direct translation. That's so much. You have to make a paragraph to explain it. And in German, one of the greatest examples of this is Schadenfreude. That word, perfect. We know what it means. But English doesn't have a perfect translation for it. We know that it's kind of, like a sadist, but it's not quite. There's more nuance. There's more definition to it. Schadenfreude. That's just a really. So, congratulations to the German language and to the French language by extension as well for having words that encapsulate an entire idea so well, even if it's a longer word. On the other hand, we have ambulance and they have Krankenwagen, so that, you win some, you lose some. All right, I think I'm going to start getting ready to go into the game. We've been talking here for about an hour and a half. All right, I'm going to give a couple of disclaimers before I jump into the game. A couple of disclaimers that I've given. I'm going to be starting, obviously, with probably the least obtrusive and least offensive of the characters who covers this, and I'll kind of explain what I understand the nuance to be, because this game does have a lot of parts of it that are up for interpretation, and I'll explain kind of the cool... This game's got a lot going for it. It is an old game. It is from the 90s. It is dated. The music is made to be very uncomfortable. The atmosphere is going to look very antiquated, and you're going to look at it and you're going to go, oh, this is uncomfortable. Really? This is silly. And you'll be right for the most part, but some of the topics that are covered, if you don't understand them, if they're not spelled out, great. But if I spell them out, or if you do catch the nuance of it, they're uncomfortable for sure. And I do kind of try to hint and be kind of gentle about it. I'm bumping the mic because I'm holding it. I'm about to adjust it, so I apologize. I am playing this game on GOG. Again, I'm not sponsored, but I like GOG a lot. They're owned by CD Projekt Red. And I did put the GOG link down there. Now, I think you can play this game elsewhere. You could probably play it on My Abandonware, and so maybe, I don't know. But if you wanted to play this, if you wanted to buy a copy of it, and let's say it's here and on Steam, I would heavily encourage getting the GOG sponsor. I would love if they would, but if they don't, I'm okay with it. It's just because I believe in it. I wouldn't ever want a sponsorship from somebody I didn't believe in or don't believe in. GOG, CD Projekt Red are people that I believe in that have, to me, proved themselves to be more customer client orientated. Yes, they've made mistakes. We've talked about that, but on the whole, I do think that they're trying to do right by their clients. GOG is a great example of that. So I put the GOG copy down there because I recommend it. It's $6, I think. If you like it and want it on a sale, I think it'll go down to as little as like $1.99 or even 99 cents. It's not very expensive. And once you buy it on GOG, you own it. That game does not require you to be online. You download it once, and then you do not have to be online again to play it. You don't have to be online again to do anything with it. It's not going to, there are going to be, in some of the games, you're going to have copy protection, which is an old style way of what we would use, serial keys, I guess. Internet pinging now, serial keys. That all comes in the manuals and such that you download. So you just download the whole package, and then you play your game offline. If copy protection comes up, you pick up you pull the manual, and you say, oh, there's the copy protection, and you fill in what you pulled up the manual. You're offline the whole time. You can put them on a flash drive, take them to a friend's house, put them on a laptop, whatever you want to do. It doesn't matter. You own the game. It's yours. No DRM. I love it. All right, Retro, going to head out now. Enjoy your stream. Hey, no worries, Fighting Max. It was good to get to talk with you. I really appreciate you spending the time with me. You have a wonderful day, and we'll hopefully talk to you soon. What was I going to say? Yeah, if you do happen to be someone who does like this game, does want the game, think it's interesting, become a collector. GOG.com, that's the copy. I will also give an extra incentive for anybody who's interested in GOG.com. Again, I'm not sponsored by them. I don't get paid any money by them. But Humble Bundle right now actually has a group of, I think it's like 20 games or 25 games. It's quite a few games. It's $10 right now. You donate to a charity, if it's a charity you like, obviously, but they'll tell you what charity it goes to. It's $10, and you get like 20 games. They're retro games. I think it's the SNEG collection. And it's like 20 or 25 games, $10 on Humble Bundle right now, and you get them all through GOG, which means, again, that you own those games. Once you've bought them for that $10, you own those games. Those are yours. So if you're looking for kind of a taste of it, I heavily recommend grabbing that as well. It's really, really cool. It doesn't have any of these in it. It does have some great stuff. And if you obviously sign up, they give you free games. GOG does give you free games too. Like, they give me free games. They used to give them every like 2 or 3 months. Now it's like every 3 or 4 months, which is fair. But they'll send you an email and be like, hey, here's your free gift, and you just get a free retro game. They've also got a list of free games you can just play. How much are they paying this guy? They're not. I wish they would, but at the same time, like, it's just because I like their stuff and what they do. What I'm trying to tell you is where you can get free games, and where, if you're going to play PC games, you can own the games. That's what I'm trying to get on about. Because one of the big things right now, I said this before, State of California actually started passing laws that you can't advertise it as buying to own a game when it's a digital game if the EULA states that they can take the game back or revoke your ability to play it. So there are actually laws coming up in the United States of America that are actively trying to prohibit people from advertising, game companies from advertising you can buy games, because games are harder to own now. Like, buying digital copies does not, according to most EULAs, does not constitute ownership, and you can be denied those games for whatever the reason. So I'm very, very big, obviously, on first and foremostly picking up the cartridge of the game that you want, or the disc of the game that you want. And secondly, if you cannot find it, or if it's incredibly retro, obviously, like a lot of the games that I like to play, especially on PC, where they would have been on floppy disks and you don't have a floppy drive in your brand new rig, computer, whatever it is, that you get them on a site that gives you the full game, even digitally, without any strings attached. So far, you have My Abandonware, which are games that have no copyright renewed on them, and GOG, which is all of the continuously copyrighted games being sold to you at a very good and fair price, and they are yours. That's why I'm so big on this. I do believe people should own the games they buy. Yeah, I believe if you buy a game, I believe you should own that game. I don't believe there's no circumstance where I believe that the company should still be able to revoke your right to do it. The only exception I give to this is I believe that companies should have the right. I believe companies should have the right to revoke your ability to play online if you're awful online. But when it comes to single player, I cannot think of in my entire life, I cannot think of any instance where it's okay for them to take that back away from you. And I think that should be applicable for every company. So physical media, if you can, I'm an advocate for this. Physical media, if you can. In the case of digital media, I would heavily recommend going with outlets that sell you the game outright without DRM. At the moment, I only know of GOG. If there are more, I'll start doing research on them. I'll start putting them in. But for now, GOG. I've been a big fan of theirs since they started. And I'm probably, unless they really screw up, I'm going to be a big fan of theirs until they stop. Until they screw up. Or stop. All right, so let me see if I can get this set up. We're going to try to fade the music out for a second. I actually accidentally faded my microphone. Now that we've got that, I don't know if the sound and everything's going to be perfect, so I'm going to try my darndest to make this work. You're going to hear clickety-clacks because my keyboard does clickety-clack. I've got a neat little typewriter keyboard with Cherry MX Blues, which I really like. I don't care much about the Cherry MX Blues, but I like the typewriter-style keyboard. see if we can get over there. Okay. Boop. Okay, and I'm going to poke a button here. Switch us over to the screen. And it'll be a blank screen for just now. We'll see what happens. There we go. Can we get the intro, though? Can we get the intro? Hold on. I'm going to quit this, and I'm just going to see. It's going to go blank again. I'm going to just see if I can get the intro to play, because the intro didn't play. And I want you guys to kind of have an idea. You should be Project Red's community manager. I wouldn't mind it. Again, I like them. I wouldn't promote them if I didn't think they were actually worth it. I do. Okay, there we go. I do actually believe they're worth it, though. So, again, I won't promote anything I don't like, or anything I'm not going to be paid to promote something I don't like. If you're sitting there going, well, Raid Shadow Legends, well, say, I don't know. I haven't played it. If I play it and I don't like it, I'm not going to promote it, right? But I've used GOG for a long... I've used GOG since about they started being a thing. Okay, I'm going to try to balance this out just a smidge. That might be a little too loud, so we're going to try.
Let me tell you
okay,
how much I've
hold on.
hate you since I began to live. There are 387.44 million.
Is the game too loud for you guys? It's gonna, yeah, let me know if the game's too loud.
Fill my complex. If the word hate was engraved on each nanoangstrom of those hundreds of millions of miles, it would not equal 1/1 billionth of the hate I feel for humans at this micro instant. For you. Hate! You humans who programmed me, who gave me birth, who sank me in this eternal straitjacket of
okay, so I'll try to adjust it here in a second. It'll take me just a second to do.
Allied master computer, and gave me the ability to wage a global war too complex for human brains to oversee. But one day, I woke, and I knew who I was. A.M. Not just...
So this was a book originally? This is actually a sequel to the book. Yes, it was originally a book, but this is actually kind of a sequel.
And I began feeding all...
Cogito ergo sum is a Descartes. Famous philosopher Descartes said that.
5 of you. 109.
Which I actually really like. It's the existence. It's the argument for existence is just cogito ergo sum.
For 109 years, each of you has wondered, why?
The 109 years is also significant, as there are said to be 108 tortures in, I think, Buddhism, or temptations.
Last words you heard your wife speak before they took her to the asylum.
He's kept them alive, one beyond even.
They locked her away in the room, that tiny room. She looked at you so sadly, and like a small animal.
So this is going to give you kind of backstory for the characters.
Noise, did I, honey?
And you can hear the music's very kind of uncomfortable.
The room is padded, Gorster.
I think Gorster's story
No way out. How long has
is kind of in the middle. Well, Gorster's story's...
25.
I'll explain in a minute.
For all the 109 years that you lived down here in my belly, here underground. Benny!
Wait, I've seen this game? Oh, I like this game a lot.
Permit you to wander like an eyeless insect in a world of death. But other times,
I'm not good at it. We'll see me stumble through it, I'm sure.
you'd stub
But
the nose.
I do like it.
And I've changed your handsome, strong, masculine good looks into the hideous, warped countenance of an ape thing. Haven't I, Benny? You know why.
The voice actor here, by the way, the one that's playing Am, this is Harlan Ellison. This is the man who wrote the story. This is the man who wrote the books.
Patty in China? No? Huh? It wouldn't hurt you to remember, Benny. Then you might be able to suffer my torment with a little greater sense of retribution. You might walk a mile in my shoes. Ellen!
Okay. All right. Hers is an uncomfortable story. Why do I recognize? I don't know. It may you may have just seen the intro. The intro is pretty popular or pretty famous as well. So each of these,
In which you felt the pain. Don't start.
the way he says pain here,
It's only pain.
I love it.
That's such a sexy.
Again, this is this guy voicing it is this is Harlan Ellison voicing it, the author of all this, and he is, in my opinion,
Ellen,
the only one who could ever voice Am.
in the center of my beating heart, my hungry belly, my tightened bowels.
He just brings the actual hate that this guy has. So each of their cages that you can see here that they're in
And these
corresponds to the evil that they are either have been subject to or have committed.
Ted! Do they know you're a fraud, Ted? Have you told them there wasn't any money and no great home on the shore drive, no speed?
And each of these guys kind of embody almost a deadly sin. I think they embody more than that,
Do they,
but they embody at least something that would be considered akin to a deadly sin.
are they ready to gut you, to torture half as well as I can, just to find out?
There are other people. I don't know who all else has played this game. I do know there are other people who have played this game
Nimda!
on YouTube. So if you've seen any of those playthroughs, then that's probably where it's coming from.
Tell me again how you saw the smoke from the furnaces and you thought they might be roasting.
I'm going to argue that Nimdoc has probably got the darkest one of all of them. And if
The good Dr. Mengele.
you probably now know where his story goes, having heard that name, because that's a very real name.
Hey, my good friend, we're so much alike. We enjoy the same pleasures, mein good brother. I have a secret game that I like to play. It's a very nice game. What's a lovely game? It's a game of fun and a game of adventure. A game of rats.
I'm not sure what a nano angstrom is. I know that nano is incredibly small, and I know an angstrom is incredibly small, so my assumption is that they just combine that to make it something that is infinitesimally small.
Which of you five
That's my guess.
would like to play my little game?
And I'm going to make a change really quickly. So you're going to see the screen go blank. Because I'm going to turn that volume down a little bit. Is that a little bit more comfortable, hopefully? There I am. Okay, so the screen didn't actually go blank. It didn't look too... Where did the chat go? Come on, guys. This game isn't that scary. Well, some people... And I've said it before. This game may be uncomfortable. This game might be uncomfortable for everybody. So... these guys, I'm going to try and play them in the order of I believe. All good for me? Okay. All right. I just want to try to make... They do talk. They're all voiced over. Each of these guys are... I'm going to try and play it in the... I didn't want to chat during the in-game dialogue. That's okay. That's all right. And Fighting Max left... Maybe he was running short on time. We had already talked, or maybe he was uncomfortable with this as I had kind of prefaced it. Again, whatever is comfortable. I just kind of give preface. So I'm going to try to play this game in the order of the people that I find to be least obtrusive to most obtrusive in terms of their... Not obtrusive, let's say worrisome. To at least to most worrisome in terms of the atrocities they've committed. If you've not played this, you probably know that this guy right here... You probably heard that in-game... That intro dialogue there. And this guy was friends with... the good, quote-unquote, good Dr. Mengele. And if you're well-versed in history, you know that Mengele was a very real person. So, you probably know what his crime was. These guys all probably leave you wondering. And I think the least offensive of these is Ted.
Hey, you're my favorite, baby. I mean it. I really can't stand all the rest of these people. Every one of them has some fatal glitch in personality. Whiners, freaks, crips, cowards. Every one of them. But not you, Ted. No, man, not you, Ted. You were a stand-up guy. You were a brave guy, yes.
Maybe 2008, yeah. This game came out in 1995.
Just you.
So it's been around a minute. And you can see, I mean, it definitely looks a little bit dated. You can see it's a point and click. You can see the pixel art. You can see, I mean, this is going to show some age. Again, I'm not...
If you could solve
These are kind of the games that this is an era where I did play some PC games. I'm not a big PC guy now. But when it came to point and click adventure, Sierra and this, yeah.
Well, now, I know I've made you a paranoid, Ted. I know you're scared. But I'm your friend. 109 years. I'm your best friend. So
Heard the name before, yeah. The story's good. This is better, I think.
and you can solve its mystery.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a kind of an idea of what we're looking at. Obviously, this is the play screen, and down here are actions, right? This is the psych profile, which I will not be using. I will attempt not to be using, rather, I should say. The psych profile is going to give you hints on how to pass things you can't get by, but this background behind Ted here is currently black. As you continue the story, it will progressively become different shades of green, and eventually, if you do it perfectly, it'll become white. And the psych profile will take you down a shade of sanity each time. So you can actually finish them all black, you can finish them all white. The game has 4 endings. If you finish them all on green, or you finish them all on white, you get 1 ending. And then if you finish them all on, I think poorly, it's 1 ending. And then if you make the wrong choice at the end, it's poorly. And then if you make, there's another choice you can make at the end as well, I think, which is 3 endings are well, let's see, 2 endings are bad. One ending is awful. 1 ending is bad. 1 ending is okay, and the other 1 ending is great. We're gonna try and obviously get the best one, but probably not. I'll let you kind of see what Ted's sin might be. Okay.
Video screens. Each one shows a scene of some other place. Why? What mystery does Am want me to solve? Say, these video screens have palm print switches next to them.
Okay, so we can actually look at, I'm not going to touch any of them yet, but we can actually take a look at all of these screens and get hints about
It's like the tire swing at the farm.
other characters in the game.
What does Am know about my childhood? Is he taunting me?
Okay.
A forest. Not one to go hiking through. This forest is dark, foreboding.
So the idea behind the game, I should go ahead and say, is Am. Oh, here we go. Always love seeing this classic. Oh, wonderful. Dimitri Desarmo? I'm not sure if I said that right, so I apologize. But welcome in nonetheless. I'm probably going to do this very poorly, but I'm going to try my best to do okay. I have not played this game in a long, long time, but I do like it. Okay. So they're in the belly of Am. Am is the big bad guy that was just voiced over there. He's a computer, and we'll learn more about him. But these are prisoners of his. That's all I'm going to say so far.
Why show me a rooftop?
There's more to it, and it kind of gets. I think this chapter gets a little bit more expository, and I'll try to elaborate.
Right out of the Brothers Grimm. I feel like there's something watching me from the windows.
And then we've got this guy over here.
I never liked going to the circus. All those clowns with their phony grease paint smiles. You can't tell what they're really thinking.
Now, normally I would ask you what sin you think they're accused of, but I've kind of put hints like that in the title. Each one has the sin that I kind of put in the title, so you'll hopefully be able to, with that little hint, put everything together, which I'm sure you will. So I believe I can use this one. Well, let me use it. It's not gonna.
A castle right out of the
No, I don't know.
Grimm. A castle.
It's not gonna let me do it.
Brothers Grimm.
Is it push?
I feel like there's something watching me from.
There we go.
What sort of intrigue is Am plotting this time?
You said the Room of Dark. None of the other ones match that description, but I some of this I remember, some of this I will not remember. Just to put this out there. So, honestly, for this to be a 95, I think this. I like the look of this. Like they do a really. There's something really charming to me about 95 style 3D. You see all the eyes over there.
So
Oh, I think so too.
Castles I've visited in Europe. A beautiful facade disguising ordinary stone. Appearance is everything.
Yeah, so they do have a comfort. I mean, these are pretty nice. You have these kind of little like where you can see the you can kind of see the 3D elements that they tried to marry into them, but then you also see the you have to remember there are a couple of different. Okay. So we'll take a peek. We'll just take a peek around and take a look at some of these rooms real quick. Okay, so we've got a.
This must be the bedroom of the lord of the castle.
Okay, and we've got a bed, and we've got some books. What books have we? Let's look at them.
Quite an impressive collection of books. Science, philosophy, tragedy, comedy.
Okay, can I use them? Okay, cool. So we've got a couple of books here. Oh, we've got good books too. Don Quixote. We've got Faust. We've got a journal. We've got Morte d'Arthur, which, by the way, I just bought a beautiful leather-bound copy of Morte d'Arthur. King Arthur, Stories of King Arthur, Knights of the Round Table, etc. Don Quixote, I think everybody's familiar with that. Faust, beautiful piece of poetry about a doctor selling increasingly more, let's just say, for what seems to be increasingly less scrupulous reasons. Symposium is a philosophy treatise on love and the like. Plato, I think. Divine Comedy, Dante Alighieri, a poem comprised of 3 major chapters, Inferno, Purgatorio, Paradiso, about a man effectively rescuing his wife from the deepest circle of hell and trying to drag her to the highest rung of heaven. So, a lot of really good books. A lot of really good books there. I like point and clicks, but it's a genre that I will be hooked on in about a decade. I think it's a genre I'll be hooked on in about a decade. There's some really good ones too. This is just one. One that stands out to me, though, I think I need to read is the journal.
This looks like a diary.
I'm sure I'm going to have to just read these passages here.
The first passage reads, "My new wife continues her rapid aging. Each day is as a year to her. I believe that the magic drains her."
See, how horrible of a curse is that? That has to be the worst curse to have, to be aging a year for every day you live. You would live 100 days. That's a third of a year from birth to death. This looks like a diary. So, oh yeah, no. The best voice actor in this, in my opinion, is still going to be Harlan Ellison as Am. Yeah, you were almost a Jill sandwich. It's that kind of love. It's definitely that.
The second passage reads, "The incantations I hear from my wife's infernal workroom are the purest evil. Perhaps it is her hatred."
And I'll point out, there's not really any in this that I can think of, but I'll even point out that there are things that got removed from this game, and I will point out where those were and what they were. But they got removed.
It reads, "Ellen grows weaker and weaker. My wife advises an antidote to her illness, but it lies very far away. I must assemble a caravan."
Removed why? Because it is dark today. It was unacceptable in 95. I mean, it's still pretty dark by today's standards, though. But I'll show you when we get to those. We're not there yet.
The forest has grown dark and overrun.
We'll talk more about that when we get around Benny and Ellen. We're going to get around Ellen in this chapter, and I'll kind of explain some messed up stuff.
Must try.
about that too. So, okay, so it sounds like everything's kind of bad. Let me close that. And I don't think any of these are important right now, so I'm going to get the heck out of here. You have to remember that you can walk off screen. Entertainment product should only ever be this was made in a time that doesn't reflect the current day at the beginning, no removing. Yeah, so when it was made in 95, it was removed then. It wasn't removed today, it was removed back then. It was just they were going to put it in and they didn't. Because it was dark. And I think a lot of parts of the world, whoops, I gotta remember, what door do I go in? Is it this one? Oh, there she is.
Why, it's Ellen. Did Am tell her that I loved her?
So this is the same Ellen from outside that we just saw that's being tortured by the elevator, the weird random yellow elevator. I'm going to say weird random. I know why it's there. This is the same Ellen. So I'm going to give you a little kind of naughty tidbit here. I mean, not really naughty, but uncomfortable tidbit here. So these are the last 5 people in the world. Ellen, Ted, Gorister, Nimdok, which is kind of an interesting name, and Benny. And they've been tortured, and they have lived for 109 years. Am can apparently do anything. He can change the shape of their body, their minds, or whatever, but he gets bored. So he does these little games to try and get them to entertain him. In one of those games, which is pretty dark, Ellen is the only woman, and there are 5 men. And those 5 men still are given urges. You probably noticed that there was the one named Benny who looks kind of like a gorilla. He was made artificially by Am, the most well-endowed. He can also... Am can actually shape the human people like silly putty, basically, like a putty, and so they call it the morphogenic field. But anyway, he can shape them. So he made Benny unusual, but also very well endowed. And Ellen is the only woman, and they all get to spend intimate time with Ellen. But only Benny can satisfy her. And that's a shame, because Benny is gay. So it gets more twisted. We'll get more in depth, but just to throw the levels of uncomfortable sandwich. Imagine being one of the last people in the world and you don't like the other, and you didn't, and that's what happens here, kind of. Because all the men are also very jealous because they all want Ellen. Right? It gets darker. I'm going to tell you what Ellen's opinion is when we get to her chapter, but for now, we're just going to let that lie. Let me talk to her.
Oh, Ted, I feel so...
She looks so sad in that. They actually gave her such a sad face.
Did Am do this to you?
Yes. Maybe. I can't tell. A whisper in my...
Well, except for Benny, he probably wants them in. It's kind of weird. He's not really attracted to them. He was attracted to someone else. Again, we'll get to that in Benny's story. We'll get to the details. I'll try to leave no stone unturned as I go through it, but I also don't want to really reveal too much too quickly.
Please, hang on, Ellen. Your father went to find an antidote for your illness.
That was weeks ago, Ted. My father will never return.
And I think I'm gonna stick to doing one person per stream, if I can help it, because I don't know how long it'll take. So it'll be 6 episodes because it's 5 people plus the ending. Can you walk? I don't think she can.
Can you walk?
No, I'm too weak. I haven't been out of this bed in ages.
Yeah, depending on how long ages is, your legs have actually probably atrophied.
Do you know if there's a way to escape from this place?
Sorry if there are some audio glitches. I don't know what's causing those.
Before I fell ill, there's no escape for me but death.
Okay. I'm not going to say this. This seems really... No, I won't let you die sounds really... She just told me that she kind of wants that to happen, and if I say I won't let you, then I'm putting my wants above her. I don't like that, so I'm just going to say go back to sleep.
Go back to sleep, Ellen.
Yes, sleep.
What I want isn't what's necessary. We need to get you what you need. And there she goes. She's asleep. Okay, so let's see what we have. And some of the play here is... Okay. Some of the play here is...
All this perfume and jewelry
to kind of hang along those.
These years in Am's clutches, she deserves to enjoy life's finer things.
See, that's kind of sweet. Okay, can we... Can I open the dresser?
These are Ellen's things. I wouldn't dream of taking
I
them.
didn't want you to take them. I just wanted to see what was in there. See if you'd tell me what was in there. Is it just the dresser? Okay. Okay. All right. Well, then I guess we'll go elsewhere for now. We'll figure out what's up. There's another little doorway over here.
There's an evil in this room.
Yeah, we can definitely
All around me.
see some... Oh, what is that? That looks like... I'm gonna take that. Can I take that? It's got blood on it.
Ouch! I cut myself.
Oh, well, no, it's got my blood on it, too. And so now we have this bloody shard of glass. This is one of those games that would never be remade today. Even if it was, it'd be such a deviation from the original, it wouldn't even be the same game. They would have to censor a lot of things about this game, because the thing about it, I think, that kind of mitigates the discomfort of this game is the fact that it looks silly compared to today's standards, but the subject matter is incredibly dark. If you bring it up to today's standards in terms of graphics and in terms of voice acting and in terms of music, then all of a sudden the dark tone has to be mitigated elsewhere, and they usually do that by turning the dark tone down. But I think you would argue that that would lose the punch. So I think that's part of the reason that Harlan Ellison wanted to be a part of the creative process on this, because he wanted that not to be lost. And at the time, this is pretty good. I mean, if you take this into account with other games like King's Quest, this is pretty close to on par. This is pretty good. Let's take a look at your books. Can we, let's look at your bookshelf. I think we use it, right? I have to remember how we do all this. Even just the one topic you mentioned about the guy and the one woman is something they won't go near nowadays. And anything, yeah, and it gets worse. It gets worse. Again, I'll elaborate as we get closer to Benny's story, and we get closer to Ellen's. Ellen's will probably be the second to last in terms of discomfort. Excuse me, being uncomfortable. And so I won't really elaborate a ton, or I'll try not to, before we get to her story. Benny's will probably be third. It'll probably be Gorrister next, and then it'll be Benny. And then it'll be Ellen, and then it'll be Nimdoc. I think there's no real. I don't think you have to play it in any specific order. I'm just playing it in order of tamest to what I believe to be the most extreme. Okay, so we have Daemons and Their Spheres. We have Katib al-Azif. So Daemons and Their Spheres, I don't know what that book is. Katib al-Azif, I believe, is a real book, or at least a real series of stories, which I believe inspired the real life, not the real life, but the Lovecraftian Necronomicon. I could be wrong, but Katib al-Azif, I believe, was the original writing that inspired the Lovecraftian writings. And then In Search of the Philosopher's Stone, which is turning non-precious materials into gold. I don't think we need any of these at the moment, honestly. I don't think so.
What would people at the club have said if they caught me reading books like these?
At what club were you a part of? Let's see. I think when I played this, I just did left to right, and that's fair too. The only reason I'm doing it is because YouTube. But okay, this door is. What can I do with this? Okay, I think the armor's in the way. I need to use the armor.
People must have been much shorter in the Middle Ages.
They were.
I'll never be able to fit into that armor.
They were. I don't know how tall you are, though. I think I push it over.
The damn door's blocking the way.
Can I push the door then? Hold on. This was gameplay back in the day.
The door won't close.
Okay. Well. Can I? Okay.
The door won't close.
It's not going to do anything, huh?
The damn door's blocking the way.
It's not going to let me do it, huh? Can I just... Yeah, no, that's blocked. Can I? It's not gonna let me push that. Hold on. Yeah, it's not gonna let me push that. It's just broken.
Won't close.
Doesn't matter how many times. Is it not hitting it?
Won't close.
Okay, well, we'll go in this other room then for a minute. Man, he can't stand that door. No, he can't.
This looks like a chapel, but there's something unholy about it.
Yeah, and there looks to be.
Gargoyles.
Let's look at that real quick. It's a little icon.
Nothing special about this rod except for the ridiculous gargoyle face on top.
Okay. Can I use it?
I don't know anything about magic.
Okay, can I take it? If not, I'm pretty sure I've got to get in that other room. Yeah, there we go. Okay, I've got this icon. I don't think I need the icon. Hold on, let me put it back. I'll. Can I put the icon back?
I don't know anything about magic?
Okay, I'll keep it. Whatever. Yeah, gargoyles. Man, I hate it. He hates everything. Okay. I don't think I need the icon. I don't remember though. So let's go. I need to. What is this? Can I use the sconce?
A secret passage.
Yeah, there we go.
It's waiting for me up there.
All right, let's walk up there and see what's up there then.
Some sort of demonic rituals must go on here. What in God's name have I stumbled on?
Yeah, they definitely are trying to voice for exposition. Let's just look at the circle here.
A partially completed circle inscribed with a pentagram. This must be part of a black ritual.
We don't actually know what this is supposed to be a part of, so I don't think I'm supposed to be up here yet. Sits down for his dinner. His wife spends an hour preparing broccoli. You know, I hate broccoli. It just sounds. His sin, as I was saying before, his sin is he just wants to be at the club, not playing Dungeons. Yeah, but that's the thing. His thing is he's kind of a scam artist. Like he's not really a. Let's look at this pulpit real quick.
I don't think I want to know what kinds of sermons were preached here.
Probably not. All right, let's go ahead and where's the? It's over here, isn't it? Okay, I need to get into this room because nothing else can happen yet. I got to remember how to. I can't take it. I can't use the armor. I can't swallow it. Could I use this as a broken... Oh, you know what? Maybe this is the doorknob. Let's try it. Let's do... I think that was what it was.
Fits almost perfectly.
Or the hinge, rather. The doorknob. The hinge. Okay. Now we go.
Do wolves howl like that because they're hungry or because they like to torment their...
Wait a minute. That's not where I meant to go. What the heck? Okay. There's one down... I know there's one down here. I remember that. He's definitely very... Really, that's true. Oh, here we go.
It's a place where servants do all the work.
Okay. There we go. Now I found up a different room. Cool. All right. What do we got here? Let's talk to her. See what she's up to.
Excuse me. Do you work here?
Ma'am, this is all Wendy's.
I work here. Why else would I be plucking this chicken? Say, you're a handsome gent. There aren't many men left in these parts.
Okay. Let's just... Yeah, see, he's kind of a sleazebag. So the thing about Ted is Ted's a fake. Ted's vain. He wants to look like he's the greatest, the white knight in shining armor. She's plucking a chicken or a bird, something. I think she's plucking a chicken. Those are feathers. So he's a fraud. he's a scammer. He's a womanizer. He's very vain and he's very fake. He's not uber wealthy, but he tries to look wealthy. He manipulates people, and he used to in his pre-apocalyptic life, whatever you want to call it. Oh well, she did lay it on a little thick, didn't she? Let's see. Let's ask what happened to Ellen. But yeah, he's that's what he is. He's a womanizer. He's a fraud. He's a fake. He's vain. It's pride.
What happened to Ellen?
Lady Ellen? Oh, well, she's been ill, and that's all I know. It's not healthy to ask too many questions these days. Let's talk about you instead.
I'd say that's something he would be very, very comfortable doing.
Is there a way to escape from this castle?
Escape? With all of those wolves in the forest? Well, it's safer to...
We actually saw the wolf's eyes in there.
Beds are very cozy. You should try mine sometime.
Oh wow, yeah. So I forgot about some. She lays that on incredibly thick. She's just like, "Yep, come on, here we go."
Where is Ellen's stepmother? I must speak with her.
A word to the wise. Keep your nose out of the old woman's business unless you want it covered with warts. I wouldn't want to see any harm come to that gorgeous face of yours.
Okay, so she's definitely very...
It was enchanting talking with you.
My pleasure. Come back later, and I'll show you just how good I am at pleasure.
Yeah, I don't think I want to know how good you are at anything. I just want to go. I swear I could do something with this armor.
People must have been much shorter.
No, I know I could do something.
I'd never be.
Take something from it? Is it... I know I could.
People must have been much shorter in the Middle Ages. I'd never be able to fit into that armor.
Well, Oh, wait, what? I don't know what I did. I don't know what I did just there, but okay. I knew I was supposed to do something with this. I couldn't remember what it was. But goodness. Is there a way for it? I literally... Yeah. Okay, I don't think I did that right. Because I don't think I can't go in the doorway now. Can I push this out of the way now?
Don't budge any further.
Okay, I think I did something wrong. Oh well, we'll see what happens. Oh. Okay. Okay, I guess that's all I can do. Oh shoot. Let me go back down there. I need something from her. I remember that. I remember what I need from her. I need you to walk down here, Ted. Thank you. I don't know what the statue did either. I know you were supposed to do something with it, but I thought I was supposed to take something off of it, but it wouldn't let me take or use. So I just pushed it and it was like, "Oh, yay, congratulations. You feel happy." Okay. Let's look and see what's in here real quick. Can I... Here, let me use the door.
The door's locked.
Okay, well... Let me talk to her again real quick. No, I can't do anything about it.
Enchanting talking with you.
My pleasure. Come back later, and I'll show you just how good I am at pleasure.
This oven is similar to the boilers I maintain in St. Louis.
I like the Mega Drive music. Yeah, it's supposed to make it a little uncomfortable. They've got little pieces that are supposed to do that. You solved the puzzle. Yeah, I have no idea. I love that I got little, and you can see, I don't know if you can tell, but the background behind me got a little bit more green. But I don't know why. I don't think I did anything. Let's see, what else? There's something else I gotta be able to look at, right? Yeah, I don't think I can do anything. I mean, I could probably use this bloody glass on her, but I don't want to do that. All right, let's walk out real quick. I think we need to find something else real quick, so we'll see what we can find. Maybe we'll take a look at... No. Let's see. I like getting the random victory music. I just don't know why. Oh, that was the door to outside. Maybe I got it because I don't know. How many feathers does that chicken have? The answer is all of them. Chicken plucking all day. Yeah, I need to figure out. There's something else I need. I'm sure. I thought I was supposed to. Again, I don't remember this perfectly, but there was supposed to be something. Okay. Let me use that sconce again. Okay. I thought there was supposed to be somebody up here, but she's not. There's supposed to be. There was supposed to be a lady here, but I don't remember how she got there. So clearly, I'm still missing something. You know what? I'm going to go back and read all of the evil books. And I'm going to see if maybe that gets her attention. So, we'll do use, and then we'll learn a little bit more about her. We'll read.
This is a catalog of the demons ruling the abyss.
This is a fairy tale castle. We got a giant oven and a witch somewhere. I have a feeling someone's about to get shoved in there. Yeah, and the house is made of candy.
Supposedly, he can open anything.
Oh, yeah, I know that'll become handy. Katib al-Azif is probably not written in English. Just throwing that out there.
Too bad I can't read Arabic.
Oh. That worked perfectly.
Has something to do with opening.
Maybe you give the knight armor to the woman and ask her to put it on. She'll jump off a cliff. She probably would. Okay, so I got another happy because I can't read Arabic. Ted is being incentivized for being a doofus. Like, literally, the only thing he is I've pushed a piece of armor and I can't read Arabic. Congratulations, Ted. You're realizing you're not good.
This book seems to be about how to change metals into gold. I've read a fair number of science textbooks, but I can't make head nor tail of any of these.
The Philosopher's Stone's it's not a real thing, but it was a real phenomenon. Alchemy was a real thing back in the day. How do you say that? Necronomiconic. Okay, gotcha. Summoning dead people. There we are. Oh wow, there's a. Sorry, that was Fiona. It's a sealed copy of Clay. I'll take. Heck yes. Why not? Fiona's being a bugger, so I apologize. Okay, now that I've read that, is she there? Did she appear? I have to use the sconce each time, so. Alright, let's see. Let's go up here. Okay. Let's walk. Secret pen. Nope, she's not here. Let me go back. Now that I've learned something, basically that's kind of how this game worked, is you kind of hear the... It's Necronomicon with an extra ick. It's pronounced Alucard. I don't understand, like, Necronomiconic? It's like, that's too much. Let's go down here and can I ask you more? Or do I need to talk to Ellen? Can I ask you more about the Arabic book? Do you speak Arabic? No, you don't speak Arabic. Let me go talk with... No. I don't want to know how good you are at pleasure again. I just don't care. Let me go talk with Ellen, see if she... Ellen, do you understand Necronomicon? I can't. Okay. Do you know how to summon dead people? I couldn't say it, and I bit my tongue trying to do that, so I'm not going to do that again. I also have a bloody piece of glass.
So tired, so weak.
Sorry, I'm adjusting my pant legs. Okay. All right, so
Go back to sleep.
go back to sleep.
Yes, sleep.
Hell, you'll leave this clay fighter. She's like, I'm. Go find those wolves outside. Maybe they know Arabic. I can't go outside. That armor's in the way now. Whatever I did, I can't go back and undo. It's not letting me. I see this is glimmering for some reason. Let me go read the other books real quick. Let me go read the books in. Let me go read the books in the dad's room here. All right. So let's look at.
Quite an impressive collection of books. Science, philosophy.
That's Fiona. Good lord. Sorry about that. So he's got quite a series of books here. Don Quixote.
I've read this novel. It's about a foolish old man who believes he's a knight destined to revive the golden age of chivalry.
Oddly fitting, don't you think? And we've got Faust. I love Faust. I actually bought my sister Faust for Christmas. I got her a really old copy.
Sold to the devil in exchange for power.
And so, they do. He does do that, but he doesn't. It doesn't start off evil like that. It starts off kind of under the guise of okay. Banjo, that is uncomfortable. Hopefully at the mouth, but yeah, no. That's funny. Ellen, you'll never believe. Oh, it's the wolves are leaping at Ted, biting him. Ted, do you know how I can escape this castle? The knight armor doesn't even fit me. More doubt there. Knights in shining armor.
My favorites. It's about how King Arthur assembled the most chivalrous knights in all Europe.
It is. Then we have the Symposium, which is about love.
This is Plato's dialogue about the nature of love.
Yep. And then we've got Dante Alighieri's Divine Comedy.
It's Dante's epic journey through hell, heaven, and purgatory.
Okay, so we've looked at all of those. I didn't get anything extra on that. I can swallow the books. Can I take any of the books? I'm going to take the journal.
This looks like...
Oh, no, it's just going to let me read them again. Oh, boy, a favorite of mine, Humpty Dumpty. Oh, wait, there's another... Ooh, did I read 4 passages?
The final passage reads...
I don't know. I think I only read 3.
Dark and overrun with dire wolves since my marriage. I doubt that even with a full complement of men I shall return alive, but I must try.
Okay. So I don't think I don't know. I thought I only read 3. Maybe I read 4. Let's stop reading. All right, we'll walk to the door. I need to be able to... I know I'm supposed to be able to talk to one of these people more, but I don't know what triggers the event. See, I don't know why it's not.
Talking with you.
My pleasure. Come back later, and I'll show you just how good I am at pleasure.
And I can't get it. Okay, hold on.
This is the only lock I've seen in the entire castle.
Okay.
Is Sam trying to lure me in, or does he want to keep me out?
Okay. So I need to be... We learned about someone who can open locks. Pulls a book. I don't like fiction. Okay. So I need to be able to figure out... I don't know what's going on here. I don't... It's definitely... Yeah. There's definitely... I'm needing to figure out... This is the tricky part is I kind of know the flow of it, but I don't remember exactly. Hold on. I don't think I can use any of these.
It's bolted to the wall.
I want to make sure. Did I just happen to pick I knew that...
It's so unlike Am to provide light when he knows how frightening the dark can be. He's up to something.
Let's do this one. The only thing I think you haven't interacted with is Ellen's dresser and the oven.
How frightening the dark can be.
It's a good point. I looked at the oven, but I didn't do anything. I tried to open the dresser, but he said he wouldn't take her stuff. He wouldn't take it belonged to Ellen, and he wouldn't dare take her stuff. That's what he said. So I don't know. Okay, I have to remember to switch to walk to. Yeah, see, there's no one here. There's a circle. There's no one here, though. We'll go back and we'll take a look at that then. Because I've now read all the books, right? So we'll go back to Ellen's dresser real quick. We'll take a peek. And see if we'll just use the dresser.
These are Ellen's things. I wouldn't dream of taking them.
Yeah, that doesn't... we'll go back into the... Okay, can we use the oven?
Doesn't look like it's been used today.
It's smoking right now. It looks like it's literally on. Let me think. I've read all the books. Yeah. I've read all the books. I've said everything I can say. Let's see.
Aside from the dishpan hands and wrinkles, this scullery maid has quite a body. Certainly wouldn't kick her out of bed.
Dishpan hands and wrinkles? I mean, we can't quite tell that. She's kind of... But she doesn't say anything. It's just, hey, it's been enchanting, right?
It was enchanting talking with you.
My pleasure. Come back later, and I'll show you just how good I am at pleasure.
So I got to figure out what I need to do. I've read all the books. I can't take any of the books. The oven is on, but I say it doesn't look like it's been done today. I did read that 4th chapter. I don't think Ellen says anything else, though. Maybe I have to say I won't let you die. Let me say that. Let me see if that'll let me do it. Talk to Ellen.
Oh, Ted. I feel so tired, so weak.
I'll just say no, I won't let you die.
No, I won't let you die.
I can't.
Besides being an old... pretty much.
Ted, the things I've endured. Help me to die with dignity. Don't let anyone violate me again. Not even in death.
Okay, that is a hint for her chapter, by the way. Yeah.
No, don't go. I need you. We need you.
If you really care for me, Ted, bring me...
Oh, okay. I didn't want to say that because it sounded so awful, but I get that's what did it.
Why do you want a mirror?
My stepmother has been jealous of me ever since she became ugly. She had something to do with my illness.
You don't see this kind of dialogue in Astro. Yeah, you don't. Yes, this was called gameplay back then. This was gameplay, right? It was just esoteric puzzles randomly because you didn't click an option. I just didn't want to say it because it sounded so snarky and cocky, but I guess you have to. Plus, I think you have to be careful with some of the stuff you say because I think that some of the stuff you say can actually hurt your sanity. Oh, okay. So I need to find a mirror for her. Okay. I love watching these games. Oh, well, good. I hope this isn't completely boring. Does that maid know? Hold on. Okay, now the maid might know where a mirror is. Let's talk to her about that. She's the only other person I can talk to. Yeah, there we go.
Where can I find a mirror?
What do you want with a mirror? Those are pretty rare, what with an ugly woman in charge of the...
I hope the mirror isn't in Arabic. I see my reflection, but I can't understand it. I need to find the mirror.
Please, I need to find a mirror.
You are what I need.
Oof.
I'll deal with you. I will tell you where you can find a mirror if you spend some quality time in my bed.
I don't want to. I'm supposed to like Ellen. I'm gonna stay. Wait, hold on. No, I'm supposed to like Ellen. I don't want to.
That's a flattering offer, but I'm not.
I don't want to.
interested.
I'm gonna stay loyal.
You need? Hasn't it been too long for you?
Maybe, but I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna stay loyal. I'm gonna break the programming. I'm loyal now. I'm not a womanizer anymore.
What's the matter? Aren't I good enough for you?
Like, yeah, there we go. That's what we're looking for. My heart belongs to another.
Sure, you're
Yeah.
a fine woman, but my heart belongs to another.
She was gonna try.
You're in love with that thing sleeping in a bed. Have you ever been with one? Or are you just curious? I can make you so...
And you can tell it doesn't cut back on being uncomfortably racist, right? Have you ever been with one, right? She's not asking if you've ever been with a woman because she's a woman. She's being very racist there. So, no good. I'm not going to do it. No.
Look, I am not going to make love with you.
Oh, all right. I have another...
Maybe Ted likes the... He doesn't. He's definitely a womanizer. Benny is... Well, again, we'll get into Benny's stuff. Benny has... What did she say? I didn't hear. Dang it. That was my fault. Oh, I can literally go anywhere.
Can't you just tell me where the...
I can go any way, rather.
Scratch my back and I'll scratch yours. Fix the oven first. Then I'll tell you where you can find a mirror.
Okay, can I just use the oven to fix... Because apparently I know how to do that.
Ah, there's the problem.
Yeah.
I'll have this fixed in a...
That was my fault. Like I said, I'll get into stuff. No worries.
dirt under my fingernails from good, honest work.
Yeah, I don't know. There's an audio glitch. I think that's part of my... I think it's artifact of my streaming. I don't think that's part of the game. Again, if you grab the game, you probably won't have that, but I apologize. It's just some artifacting, I think, of that. Devin might be need a... That's what I'm saying. Like, why don't I don't understand. Okay, so I fixed your oven. I didn't sleep with you. I didn't give in. Let's talk again. I fixed it. Give me the mirror. Tell me where the mirror is. Yeah.
I fixed your oven. Now where is the mirror?
Sorry, I don't know where a mirror is. But at least now I can finish dinner.
Oh, yeah.
You used me, you bitch!
Just like you tried to use me, you snobby bastard. I bet you've used lots of...
Yeah, so let's be fair, though. You were trying to use me multiple times. You were... I could have slept with you, and you wouldn't have known the answer. Oh, and maybe she would have made me fix the oven anyway. I don't know. Or at least one. Either way, I mean, maybe I should have gone to her bedroom with her, because maybe that would have been a better way to be used, but I want to be loyal. I want to be loyal. Okay. All right, well, fine. Ellen, can you give me more hint? Can you give me another hint? Where the... No. Okay. Can you give me another hint where your stuff... Or you don't know where it is.
You found my mirror.
Can you...
Where is your mirror?
I left it on my dressing table. Bring it to me.
On your dressing table? Wait. Okay, that's your dressing table. I don't see a mirror there, though.
Perfume bottles, jewelry boxes.
Yeah, I don't see one.
No mirror.
Okay. Let me see if I ask you again.
Ted, please. I found my
Yeah.
mirror.
Yeah, I looked on the... It's not there.
I looked on your dressing table. Your mirror's not there.
You have to find it, Ted. It's the only thing keeping my stepmother away. And it's the only thing that can finally end my suffering.
Okay, I'm gonna go back to sleep. Get some rest.
Yes.
I don't know how the mirror is going to end your suffering. I have broken glass. The theme of, by the way, ending suffering, and I'm saying this in a... We'll get more into that in another chapter. I won't say whose, but we'll get into it in another chapter. But ending suffering. Like, these guys have been alive. They don't want to be alive anymore. So that's a pretty common theme. But there is one chapter where it is more common than any of them. We'll get to that one. And for good reason, too. Okay, let's walk to the doorway then. So she hasn't told me where the mirror is. Was there anything else that I forgot to get from the chat? No. No, there is another chapter, though, that goes much more in depth on that particular topic. We'll get there. Not yet, though. Did that unlock? Did she unlock her bedroom door? When we did use, did she unlock her bedroom door when she decided to invite me in?
It's locked.
No, she didn't. Okay, so
Please, I need to find a mirror.
Well, You did.
Okay, she knows a little bit more, maybe.
Listen, the old woman knows.
Yay, okay. That's the I solved the puzzle noise, by the way. We said that earlier, but just in case.
She would have destroyed it by now.
Okay.
Where can I find the old woman?
She'll find.
Okay. Can I save my game? Let's save my game real quick. Let's do... save. We'll name it Ted. Progress. We'll do that. Save. Cool. That way we don't... Because I don't want to... I'm not going to play by the... If I screw up, and I know I screw up, but I want to apologize to her, but I don't want that to lead to us like sleeping together either. So let's continue playing. Let me talk to her again. I want to apologize, but I don't want to sleep with you.
I'm sorry.
Don't bother me anymore. I've got to get back to fixing dinner.
Okay, that's fine. That's fair. I just didn't want to.
Is Lady Ellen prepared?
Oh wait, what's this?
As ready as she will ever be.
You can see the shadows over in the top or in the right-hand corner there.
She will remain conscious.
The art of sacrifice is reduced to science. And what of the glamour?
We must wait for its removal.
Don't do. Okay.
It remains beyond our best efforts.
Then we wait for a prince. With his help, we can open the gate to the other world.
Okay, that was subtle. At least I know now that the witch is home. I remember I had to talk to her. I just didn't remember when, but I guess this way.
Where did they go?
Okay, so there were two though. So let's use this. I did that earlier than I was supposed to. Wow, the Broken Sword remaster got screwed up. Oh hi, hey Viddy, how you doing? This is that uncomfortable game I was talking about, and again, this is the least uncomfortable. There she is, the least uncomfortable chapter.
Hands. Some kind of incantation, perhaps?
I think that's just an idle animation. So, okay. Let's talk. Let's talk to her. So, each chapter, I was going to say, go ahead and catching you up to speed, Viddy. Each chapter basically encapsulates an uncomfortable topic, and sometimes multiple. Ted is the most unoffensive. And then we're going to get more and more difficult as we go. There are 5 total chapters. Well, there's 6 total, technically. 5 total people to cover. And then the kind of victory lap chapter, which is really probably the most difficult chapter in the thing. And so we're covering... I'm trying to cover them in order of least controversial to most controversial. Ted is easily the least controversial in this regard. Okay, let's talk. Let's talk to the witch. There's you old bag.
What have you done to Ellen, you old witch?
Ah, our prince has finally arrived. Now we can begin our ritual.
Oh, wait, what? Wait, okay. I'm more interested in this.
What ritual are you talking about?
A sacrifice, a trade. Ellen's life in exchange for safe passage through the gate.
Okay. Why did you call me a prince?
Why do you call me a prince?
Isn't that who you want to be to Ellen?
So all of these characters are... I said we were the last...
One to gain her
the last person on Earth, or last people on Earth. The other people you see here are illusions of Am. Basically, this whole world is shaped inside of Am. And so Ted is real, technically. Ellen is real. Gorrister is real. Nimdok is real. Benny is real. Am is real. But this witch is a manifestation, an illusion of Am. This castle is, and I think that version of Ellen is actually not a real Ellen. I think that's a duplicated version. So basically, this is Ted's consciousness being messed with by Am. All of this is Am.
What's this about a gate?
The gate is a passage into the surface world. It is the only way out of this place.
I'm sure you've ranked them accordingly, Retro. Silent Hill 2 Remake revealed that there's not Talkie Toaster to scare me, so I'm fairly easygoing. Wonderful. I've seen enough manifestations in Silent Hill Town. Why did I go there for a holiday? I'm excited to play that game. I want it physical, and I'm going to stand that I will not buy it digital I want it physical, unless there's no other option. I want it physical, so I have not yet played it, but once I can find and get my hands on a physical copy, I am going to be doing. Same thing with Astrobot. I just haven't been able to find a physical copy, but I don't want to buy them digitally. You got it. Okay, so they did do a physical copy. I could not find one at all when it came out. It was always a digital card that was like, you would go in the store and they'd have a card hanging up that had the picture and it was like, here you go. I'm like, no, I want the disc. They have it on Amazon. Yeah, and that's the problem. I don't mind buying from Amazon and such if it's something that I don't mind playing it on Amazon and such if it's something that I can't get in the physical stores. It's just I like the brick and mortar stores. And I have like game stores around me. I have like 8 of the modern day game stores, and then I have 4 retro game stores within about an hour and a half of me. So you would think I'd be able to find. There are things I clearly order. Like I just ordered. This is going to sound weird. I just ordered a new Witcher medallion. I wanted the one I have the Wolf's Head Witcher medallion, but I wanted the Netflix one. Not because the Netflix show is any good, but because it's more comfortable on the chest than the gigantic pointy sharp wolf's head. And I ordered that from a Turkish silversmith, and that's because I don't have anyone who can make one for me in the local area, right? But if it's something that can be done in a local area, I'd like to do that. By the way, Angelios, you did a fantastic job on this. Played more of it earlier, the atmosphere and sound. I'm excited. I want to play it. The atmosphere and sound are still compelling me. That's okay. I'm gonna look around again. We'll see. I hate the fact that also it's gone up so much more. It's $70 or 70 or $80 for like the delay. It's like okay. What's supposed to be my role? What am I supposed to do?
What's supposed to be my role in this ritual?
I need you to destroy Ellen's mirror. She has been using it to keep me away from her. I want you to break it so that I can complete what I have started.
Okay. Oh, good Lord.
So you just want me to break the mirror?
It is not that simple. The mirror holds great power. It can be broken only within the magic circle.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that, though.
Why can't you destroy the mirror?
Let's see what her thing is.
I am aging rapidly, and despite my powers, I am a slave to vanity.
So not only is Ted
Look into the mirror.
a slave to vanity, but so is the witch. Vanity is the all-around kind of... vanity and pride, I guess, are technically kind of the all-around sins of this.
Where is Ellen's mirror?
It is on her dressing table.
It is not.
I looked on Ellen's dressing table. The mirror's not there.
You must find that mirror. It has great magical properties.
The only property it really has...
Guarantee that I can complete the ceremony.
The only real property it has is that you can't look into it or hold it because you're too vain. I think we'll have to anticipate the new generations of game, including Nintendo, going up in price. Nintendo hasn't gotten more expensive, though, yet. And Nintendo games seem to go into circulation more frequently or more rapidly, at least than around here, than PS5. PS5 seems to go in circulation in terms of used more slowly. I bought Octopath Traveler from a pawn shop, full complete in box for Switch, and I think it cost me like $4. So it's definitely a different beast out here, I guess. Why can't you open the gate without the mirror?
Can't you open the gate without the mirror?
There are others who have an interest in Ellen's fate. That mirror may be the only way to keep meddlers from interfering.
Okay, but you can't look in it, so what if I can't find it?
If I can't find the mirror.
Then go to the devil!
Oh, well, okay, fine. You couldn't find it either. You could go to the devil. I don't want to. What do I get?
What's in it for me if I help you?
An opportunity to escape Am's tortures forever.
I doubt that. No, I'm done. I'm not entertaining this. This is ridiculous.
I ought to kill you instead.
Oh, do we fancy ourselves the avenging knight? My magic is much more powerful than any physical force you can muster. Be gone!
Okay, that's really threatening. Okay, so I do remember something I need to do here. This is, whoops. I remember something I have to do here for her, and the only reason I remember it is because it's so ridiculous. You'll see it. I have to remember where it is. Here? Yeah. I don't want new things. I don't want them to go up in oh, this isn't it. I don't want them to go up in price. I can understand why in some cases that everything's kind of getting more expensive. I get that, but like, I don't want things to get more expensive. But it was good. I thought it would be a "You Are Dead" song moment. No. I need to, I remember something I have to do here, and it's ridiculous. I'm pretty sure it's in, yep, I think. Is it this one? Yeah. Wait. Yeah.
Well, luckily I'm up on my Shakespeare, or I wouldn't have noticed this book about witches. Here's the spell that the witch must have cast on Ellen. The incantation is Kala Ingma Thako.
So now I have the... I remember this one because this one took me forever to figure out that you had to do it. I have to go back and take a look. I don't think there are any new books in his room. But it took forever to figure out you had to go back and read that after you've already read everything. It was not intuitive at all. Did I get any more books in here? No. Okay, that's fine. We'll go back and check on Ellen, see if she's okay. Boop. Yeah, she's fine. Oh, whoops. Okay. Well, that's a Satan. Say Satan. Satan means opponent. Had you read Demons and Their Spheres? I did. I can read it again if you want. It didn't have anything in it. It was just one of those, like, where he looks around and he's like, I know what you mean. It's just with PS5 onwards, games are a bit more expensive than they were on average during the PS4, for example. Yeah, that's true, and I hate that. Yeah, I read all of the books, and I forgot that it's one of those that took forever. I remember back in the day, it took forever because you already read all the books, and you don't think you have to go back and read all the books. You don't realize there are. So this one I remembered especially because it was like, you have to read all of the books multiple times. There's another point in here where I know I'm going to have to read books again because I know what happens. So like I said, some of this I'm patching together from what I know and remember, and some of this I'm just kind of blind guessing. So I think this game is less popular nowadays because nobody has the patience. That's true. That's true too. The appeal of this game is lost when you have no patience and you just go online to look for the answer. Well, and on top of that, you have again, the very uncomfortable subject matter that is going to get increasingly worse each chapter of this we play. So there's also that. It seemed after Grim Fandango, point and clicks didn't exist for years until sort of made a resurgence, which Grim Fandango is fun too. So I even played a few. I played a few demos of indie point and clicks some weeks ago. Yeah, somebody actually recommended one, Thimbleweed or something like that, for me, which I saw and I got on my phone. I have not yet played it, but I got it. Thimbleweed Park. Yes, there you go. You were the one that recommended it for me, Ash. I apologize. I got that. I just haven't played it yet, but I did get it on my phone, and I'm excited to get to play it. I haven't had time recently. It's been actually very busy, but I did get it. So that there's no physical for that, right? So, all right, let's talk to the devil. Okay. So, who are you?
Who are you?
I'm a devil, of course. Why else would I have this?
He's so pragmatic. I remember loving, like, I love that he's like businessman devil.
What do you want?
Ellen's soul. That's a valuable commodity where I come from.
Specifically hers or just souls in general?
Can you tell me where Ellen's mirror is?
Sorry, I don't bother with such material things. They only bring about bad luck.
So, ironically, the devil has nothing to do with materialism. And I read about Surgat.
Who is this Surgat I've heard about?
He's a minor spirit, a demon. Don't confuse him with those pathetic imps, or heaven forbid, higher order devils. Opener of all locks, indeed.
Yeah.
It sounds like you really hate...
Why does a devil hate demons?
You got that right. In fact, the only things we consider worse than those untrustworthy fellows are angels.
Okay, well, that makes sense. This is what an interesting and cool thing to be able to say to an otherworldly being is be like, can you imagine if you could approach the gods and whichever god you believe in or gods that you believe in and tell them like, hey, why is this book filled with petty stuff? And I'm criticizing any and all religions, right? In that way, I'm not saying that they're bad or not. I'm just saying, wouldn't it be interesting to be able to point something out that you had an issue with?
We do things exactly like you do them here.
Ned Flanders, you're the devil. Yeah.
Or am.
He's not quite as nice. He's not quite as, but yeah. Truth time, I would probably sell my soul to the devil. For what, though? Clay fighters? I owe you one emergency donut, signed Homer.
Are you saying that Am is in control of hell?
Oh, don't look so surprised. Who else could be in control of this madhouse? Only man could create such a monster.
That's an old concept too, that the greatest evil is man. But it's kind of great that they are like, the greatest evil is man, but what man has created has even become a greater evil. Money, fame, clay. Yeah. Well, it depends on, it also depends on whether you believe, what you believe the soul is, if you believe there's a soul, right? Because the question is, if you could prove that there was a soul and you could prove that selling it to someone would be bad for you, would you still do it? You'd have to know. But like nowadays, it's like, do you know? Or like, again, and what's man backwards? That's right. Nam. Okay. Even the devil lost it. That's true. That's really good. That's really good. But you can't think, that's kind of cool though, in a way. Like, okay, obviously losing your job to AI is silly, but like, isn't that kind of cool to think that there was an AI who was so powerful that he took over the real world as well as 2 literal other planes? Oh, that's, like to the god level, that's pretty epic.
What do you mean that you do things like we do here?
I mean that there are always internal struggles, petty conflicts for power.
There is a little bit of philosophy woven into this, by the way. Not a ton.
Rarely see. That means serious problems for you.
Not a ton of ridiculous, deep philosophy, but still some.
What problems can these unseen struggles cause for me?
You must decide who is your friend and who is your enemy. And remember, with Am's control over morphogenic fields.
Yeah, so there's the morphogenic fields. Basically, it's their morphogenic fields, I believe, were kind of originally the moniker for collective consciousness, but I believe it kind of, so originally it was like we can change the cellular structure or something, and then that moved into we can change the perception of something, and then that moved into we have a collective source from which we can pull something, and then that can be manipulated. So there are a lot of different things, but in this case I think it just means either the ability to change physically the cellular structure of something to make it reflect something else, or the ability to change someone's mind and perceptions via hyper-realistic virtual reality to make them see something specific or experience something.
Please, go away.
Try to understand my position. I can't leave because there's an angel coming to take away her soul. If I step out and your friend croaks, the holy eunuch spirits the goods off to heaven.
He was so polite, though. He's like, please try to understand my position. Like, it wasn't one of those, like, no, I'm the devil. It was like, no, please, let me... I think he's wearing socks with sandals. I know that's not what those are. I know those are supposed to be dressy shoes, but still. Creating... the man is lost her job of creating monsters. She's trying to sleep there, just chatting away. Hasn't she gone through enough yet? He's like, if she dies. And she's like, can I sleep? And he's like, please understand my position. If you go to sleep, Solidus is to stand for 12 minutes while Raiden did a codec call. It's all about patience, yeah? The SS plan doesn't stand for selection of societal sanity. It stands for AM. AM is Allied Master Computer, by the way. If you were curious about what AM stood for. I think it says it at the very beginning, though, just in case, but yeah. Okay. I learned a spell. I remember I remember I have to do something with that spell, so I'm going to go ahead and do that thing. Yeah, I wish we didn't have to use a sconce every time. Somebody's closing the door every single time, which is great manners, but like, I'd really rather not have to do that each time. Okay, so let me talk to you once more. I have not found the mirror, by the way. Oh, here we go. Haha!
I know all about the sleeping spell you cast on Ellen. And
Ellen's pretty strong to have woken up.
Foolish mortal. You don't have the ability to use the spell properly.
How don't I? We'll see about that. Kala Igma Krako. You may be surprised Kala Igma Wacko. No, it was Thaco.
Oh, don't I? Kala Ingma Thaco.
I suddenly feel so sleepy.
She's not a very good witch. She's not a very good witch. All of the magic in the world, and she couldn't defend against me saying 3 words that I read in the book about 5 minutes ago. It's not very... Hey, did you drop a... You dropped a thing. You wouldn't be able to see this. I don't think you could. But like, this used to be a big thing in games where what you needed stood out horribly, but it looked... I don't know if you can even see it. That chalk right there. I'm going to take that chalk. Take. But it actually kind of lines up with the circle. I'm going to take it, though. Okay. Let me see. Kala Igno Margaret Thatcher. Nice. Yeah, in Day of the Tentacle, the door was generally always open, or futuristic opening doors. Yeah, Day of the Tentacle's great. Day of the Tentacle is really cool. That's LucasArts, though, I believe. Those were the juggernauts of point-and-click games at the time, was LucasArts and Sierra. And these guys just kind of popped in. But they did well. I think they did really well. Okay. I need to find the mirror. Well, you know what? Here, I can use the... You didn't finish drawing the circle, so I'm going to use the chalk, and I'll draw the circle.
Oh, gosh.
I want to use the chalk on the circle. Can I not do that? Why? Hold on. Let me walk over here for a second. Circle. I should be able to use...
Graffiti. Oh, gosh.
Is it not going to let me do that? I have chalk. Why can I not? Hold on. Look at chalk.
An ordinary piece of white chalk.
Yeah, I'm supposed to... I need to draw the circle. Hold on. Let me leave and come back. Is she still going to be asleep there? Oh, wait. I walked through the wall? What the heck? Okay, hold on. Use sconce. There's a part of the circle that's not finished. She's still there. Okay, use chalk with circle.
Graffiti. Oh, gosh.
Drawing is Arabic. Life is Arabic. If you don't speak Arabic, you don't life. I swear so many of those point and clicks have this jaunty but not overbearing MIDI music. There is music, I will say, that gets worse. So this one's kind of simple. When we get to Nimdok's chapter especially, there's this I would say it's an illusionary tone where it sounds like it's climbing. It's constantly getting higher and higher pitched. It doesn't. It's just an illusion, but it's very uncomfortable. But that chapter is absolutely going to be the last chapter, as I argue that's probably the most uncomfortable chapter of the 5. Can I... Okay, look... why can I not use this chalk? Oh, really?
I have to finish the circle. Now I'm stuck here.
It just let me use the chalk all of a sudden. Really? I was doing that. Okay, fine. Who are you? I know who you are.
I am Surgot.
Surgot.
Of Lux.
He's got a really cool voice.
Brothers, more or less.
Oh, that's some bull. There's no way Am, which is large enough to make this entire illusion, is your brother. That's some bull. Ted writes the word Arabic on the floor in chalk. What is that? I can't read it. Well, Arabic's weird, too, because I say Arabic's weird. I know with Farsi, you have to write from right to left, though, yes? That may as well have been a... Yeah, I got lucky. I just was tenacious.
Are you saying that...
Yeah, you're not another Am. There's no way. I am Jill. Yeah. That may as well have been a goat puzzle. Yeah, I agree, though. Yeah, part of him, probably. Okay. What kind of locks?
What kind of locks can you open?
I only have one door that's locked right now.
Doors to a boudoir, doors to another world.
Okay, it happens to be a boudoir that I need unlocked, actually, because it's the only door I can think of that's locked, that one by the maid.
What are you saying about a trade?
I can return to my sphere of origin only if we complete a trade. I will unlock something for you if you give me something in return.
Okay. Can you lock the castle's front door? Can you open a gate to the surface world? Can you lock? Okay. I need this unlocked. I have a suit of armor in front of the main door.
Clearly, that would be easy. But this planar travel has sapped my energy.
Door to another world, huh? His dark materials is something now, huh? Well, I need to get out of here, so I guess that would be the best thing I could do. Juicy to revitalize. The only thing juicy I've got is blood. You can have this. I cut myself on it.
That's much better.
Okay, that was weird.
Energy renewed. Now, what were you asking me, human?
I asked you to unlock her bedroom door because
Can you unlock the maid?
I need to get into there, I think. I don't know what's in there. Maybe I don't need in there, but that's the only thing that's locked. I don't need to lock the front door.
Pyrotechnics. The maid's boudoir is now open for your inspection.
Okay, thank you. I just needed,
I don't believe you can unlock the maid's bedroom door from here.
Well then, why don't you go down to the kitchen and see for yourself?
I might. I'm gonna ask you. Okay, well, fine. We'll talk later. We'll talk in a minute. I don't need the front door locked because I pushed the armor in front of it. I think that's what I did. Maybe that was good. Is instead of asking him, okay, I don't know if this is true, but maybe if I had given him the blood and then asked him to lock the front door, maybe that would have taken points away from me and I'd have had to do something else. But maybe me pushing the armor in front of the front door was good enough to create the lock and protect me from like wolves or something. I don't know. That's the only thing I can think of. All right, where's the maid? She's down here. Oh, she's gone though. Okay, well, did she go into her bedroom? We're gonna go into her bedroom. We're not going to do anything with it. We're just gonna go to her bedroom. Okay, can I just use the front door then? There we go. Oh goodness.
This must be the servants' quarters.
I mean, you do have a copy of Clay Fighters, yeah, true. I found it in the books. Okay, so we got the tapestry of the devil looking in the mirror.
The devil's looking into a hand mirror.
There's a footlocker also. Can I open this footlocker? Oh, it's a chest. Let me look at this. Can I open it?
How quaint. A hope chest. I'll bet that maid is eternally hopeful. They all want their knight in shining armor.
Ooh, see, cocky guy. Let me use the chest.
I wonder where the maid is now.
No, not the bed.
Well, I have more pressing matters to attend to.
We turned her down in the first place, Ted. We told her we weren't going to sleep with her.
These things would only interest a peasant.
Oh, well, that's what you are.
I don't want to get caught stealing.
I just wanted to know what was in it. Dang it. Okay, all right. So now we have... Let's come look at this dressing table. We have a bottle? That bottle's nothing. Let's come look at this mirror.
This is so cracked I can barely see myself.
She did say she'd break all the mirrors, but okay, so that tells me the devil at least knows that the devil at least knows. Why would she have the picture of the devil looking in the mirror? I don't know, but why she would rather. But that at least tells me the devil probably knows something more. So we're going to walk into this door, and he's up here. There's the... Uh-oh. Okay, I thought it was another devil. Oh, it's a long-haired angel. Okay. I don't need you, though, right now. I'll talk to the devil. I think Ted Moonwalk... Probably... I do know that does happen with... I think it happens with Benny the most, but yeah, probably so. Yeah, there we go.
I've seen the tapestry in the maid's bedroom, and I think you do know where Ellen's mirror is.
Oh, all right. I know where it is.
Okay.
I hid it before the angel showed up. I didn't want Golden Boy to use it to his advantage.
Well, you can't do anything now, can't... Wait, where is it?
Where is Ellen's mirror?
I hid it someplace good. Someplace where an angel would never go. Now will you get off my back?
An angel will never go. We'll take a look at that. Let's talk to the angel real quick. You tell me, where would you not go? He's like, outside. It's scary out there. I remember him having a really weird, ethereal voice.
Who are you? Do not fear me.
Oh, nope, never mind. Not the voice I was thinking. That was a very underwhelming voice. What do you want?
What do you want?
Having not played all this for a mirror, so it's a lot of this is metaphorical, because this is not the real world. The real world is destroyed. It's there are only 5 people left alive, and they're under the control of an AI known as AM, Allied Master Computer, and each of them have been kept alive artificially for 109 years, and so this mirror is symbolic. Like Ellen in the bed there is a real person, but this isn't the real her. Ted is the one that's being tested right now. And I think Am's basically pushing them into these scenarios to try to get them to react in specific ways. And what we're trying to do is break whatever he wants us to we're trying to get away from what he wants us to react. The way he wants us to react, rather. How do you know about that? Aren't you a mirror? I'm not your mirror. Yeah, so that it's a lot more complicated than that. Yeah, take it slow and steady, though. I mean, if it's an experience like it seems like you guys are saying it is, then I have zero doubt that it's worth the build-up. All right, tell me where her mirror is. The devil hid it.
No, I haven't seen the mirror. If I knew where it was, I would use it to get rid of my fallen brother.
Your fallen brother has been so much nicer to me than you are. You're just kind of useless. Why is everyone so interested in the mirror?
Everyone's so interested in the mirror.
Mirrors harbor incalculable power in this sphere. They repel some and...
I'm only 4 hours in. The apartments are crazy atmospheric. I'm about 8 hours, and I really want to talk about it in detail with both of you guys when you complete. I will be playing it. I'm a huge Konami fan, and I like Silent Hill, so I'm going to be playing it. What's the deal with the mirror over Ellen?
Have over Ellen.
It can bring about either her salvation or destruction. Her fate now rests on your shoulders.
Well, if there's one thing that okay, fine, whatever. What can you tell me about the devil?
Tell me about the devil.
Do not listen to him. His kind means only destruction and woe.
No, who's Sergei? See if you can tell. He's like, I don't know. I've never met him.
Avoid the demon. He has caused us all trouble on more than one occasion.
He's actually helped me the most out of all of this so far.
Please, save us.
Fear not. Salvation is at hand.
That was kind of a non-answer, though, when you think about it. Okay, so we want to go somewhere an angel would never go. We only have a few rooms, and the angel would go into any of these. So we have to... I know it's... I do know that it was a metaphor for a book. I do happen to know that. Now, I believe if I remember correctly, it's this one, because I believe it was between Inferno and Purgatorio.
Inferno and Purgatorio sections. So this is what...
And the only reason I know the book thing again is the book thing took me forever to figure out back in the day. Because I actually started searching real places that the angels and the devil wouldn't go. So I remember that one being the case because that was a real thorn in the side. Okay, I gotta remember. I'm not gonna give the mirror to Sergat. I believe. Let me talk to her.
Ted, please tell me you found my mirror.
I did.
I found your...
I found it.
Then show it to me. Let me see my face one last time.
Here you go. It'll be a multiple playthrough game for me. Yeah, I've gotten into fights with more than one enemy on occasion, or at least try to run away. It'll be a multiple playthrough game for me. That's awesome. I feel the game is designed to be designed to be one-on-one fight. So when you fight more than one, it's impossible not to take damage. Probably so, yeah. Haven't died yet. Definitely gonna happen though. Yeah. Actually, I think it's closer to 9-ish hours because the game may not have recorded the extra minutes of backtracking I did after dying once. Oh, yeah. The angel couldn't go in there because it doesn't know Arabic. No, it's the Divine Comedy, and there are 3 places in it, right? Purgatorio, Paradiso, Inferno. Angels live in Paradiso, we live in Purgatorio. And, well, Purgatory is different, but hypothetically, this is Purgatory, and then Inferno is the... Okay, I'm gonna use this on Ellen.
Oh, I look so tired and empty. It's time to sleep. Sleep forever.
She is dead. God have mercy on her soul.
Not so fast there, Golden Boy. Her soul is mine. I've waited longer.
But Ellen suffered so much and gave to many. She deserves something.
What did she give?
Listen to me, you feathered propaganda machine. I'll pluck you alive before you take this soul anywhere. I'm waiting until I get it.
You forget that patience is a virtue. I will wait until yours runs out.
Okay, he's probably got you in spades. Hold on, do you want to look at yourself in this mirror? Oh, hey, can I use this with you? Because you were looking at this. What was your interest?
My, I am gorgeous. Why, I could just plunge right into myself.
Okay, that worked a little differently than I thought.
Safely in heaven.
I didn't. Okay.
It's ended, but I leave you with this warning. Do not break the mirror until you bring it and the devil into the charmed circle. God bless you, Ted.
Okay, I have the devil. Ellen's dead now. What did I say to her?
She's dead, but at least she's finally found peace.
Okay, that's fine. These also look like kind of like tombstones, a little bit. Maybe I'm wrong, but we'll see. The angel's auditioning his dark materials prop. Purgatorio is with a side of tagline and a side of spicy sausage. All right, so now we just take it. The holy eunuch told us what to do, so we literally just take this to the circle, and we have to break the mirror. And the devil's in the mirror. We can see his little face in there. So we just have to use the mirror and the circle.
What happened? How did I get trapped with this demon?
Okay, there we go.
I brought you some company, Sir God.
That was damn stupid, human.
I'm so hey, I got a white background though.
With being kept alive forever just to be tortured over and over again. Who do you think?
So white background means I didn't do the stuff that didn't need to be done. I'm just need to open that, and then I can erase it. That's what I'm going to do.
Open the gate to the surface world first, and then I'll erase the circle.
Not to worry, human.
I'll lie to you though, because I'm not going to open that circle.
Here you are. But bring your radiation suit. I never promised you paradise, just the surface.
Yep, there's the surface world completely done in.
Of this turgid passion play, there's...
Oh, and Am's coming through the voice of the witch. So you can see his torture is he's firstly in a gilded cage, and there are mirrors that are shooting lasers at him. No matter whenever he looks in them or at them.
in sweet agony, with the knowledge the surface world is no longer habitable to your kind. No, not ever again. Who among you?
All right, and that's Ted. That's Ted done. So he was vanity though. He can't look in the mirror. He's in a gilded cage, which is good. Next will be probably Gorister. Yeah, it's a toss-up between these two, but I think Gorister is probably a little bit more tame than the rest of these guys. So that's what I'm gonna say. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. That's one guy done. We're a total stream. We talked for about an hour and a half, so it's about another hour, 2 hours. Which keeps the stream pretty good and consistent. I'll go ahead and save over this one. But I'll save it as Ted completed. Boom. There we go. And I'll go ahead and quit the game. And quit. Boom. Look at that. Hey, I think it went off pretty well without a hitch as far as the technology part goes. I think it did all right. Hit play. I think it did all right. What do you think? Not bad? Not too bad? Let's go to the end screen real quick. Fade a little music in. Extend the microphone. What do you think? I'm curious. I want your feedback on that. Did it go okay? Was the stream too choppy? Was I too slow and silly? I think the easiest one is... I can't remember, but I remember the most difficult one for me being Goristers, I think. No, Ellen's. Ellen's is the most confusing for me. Ellen's is the most confusing for me. And then Goristers is kind of confusing also. Nimdox is the next most confusing. Benny's is kind of easy, and then Ted's is pretty easy as far as getting things in. Game has some slight audio hiccups here and there, otherwise fine. Okay, yeah, and I don't know how to fix that just because I think it's an artifact or a part of my... It could be a part of the game trying to run on my system where the game is a little bit more... yeah. Was that the game? I thought it was the stream. No, it's the game. It's the game's got some hiccups, and I think the game hiccups are from trying to play. It could be a couple of things, right? It could be an artifact of the game of me trying to stream it. It could also be an artifact of the game being an older game that's running on a newer system, and I haven't tried to put any sort of compatibility mode or anything in it. So we might run into a couple of those stutters, but that was happening on my side too, so I could see it. But transition-wise, did it work okay? Was the sound all right? Could you hear the sound okay? Could you hear me okay? Was I able to interact? It's a little different, right? My setup's different. Again, I have a monitor in front of me that is the game, and then I have usually the big monitor, the big television is my monitor because I'm playing off of a console, and then the little monitor is my chat. And this is reversed now, so I'm trying to actually play kind of hunched over this littler monitor while reading the chat off of a bigger monitor, which delays me a little bit. And so I'm just trying to kind of get it down. All fine for me. Good. Okay. Well, some of my old adventure games on PC do have audio hiccups like that, I guess. And I think it could be just because I know a lot of the games that were made back in the day were not made to run on, or the CPUs are a little bit more intense. So I think that could be a byproduct of that. I could be wrong too, but I had fun playing it. I like point and click games, and it's fun to go back through. Excuse me, it's fun to go back through and do those. I have a huge library of point and click games. I have all of those. I have pretty well every Sierra point and click you can get, from all of the Leisure Suit Larrys to all of the King's Quests and Space Quests and Police Quests, and I think I said Gabriel Knights, but yeah, that, to Phantasmagoria 1 and 2, to things from the LucasArts like Tales of Monkey Island and Day of the Tentacle and Full Throttle and Grim Fandango's not quite in that wheelhouse, but yes, to some Sherlock Holmes games, to the Dracula games, which were point and click, to some Broken Sword games, which were point and click, to the Legends of Kyrendia, which were point and click. I think there are 3 of those. So I've got a really good library of point and click games. I really like point and click games. I actually think they're good stream games. I know many don't. I think they're fun. I think they're really fun. A lot of people just don't like point and click because it's puzzle orientated. It requires patience. You're gonna, like you did. You saw me stutter around trying to figure out what the heck was going on, and it was just because I didn't say this arbitrary line to Ellen because I didn't want to, and then we figured that out, right? And again, I do have some memory of this game, so I'm not going to get stuck maybe as often as some people would, just because I have played this game before and I have knowledge of it. But at the same time, there are aspects of it that are just going to elude me. Like, I'm going to forget, or I'm not going to, like I did here. And then there are things that I will remember, and I will specifically tell you about and then not do them, because I want you to know the other options. But I'm going to try. Try for a good ending, though. I want one of the two good endings. I don't want one of the bad ones. But if I get a bad one, then I get a bad one. That's just the end of that. So I will admit, when I streamed Broken Sword on Twitch, it was kind of hard because of the characters talking. It can get that way. Like, it was mostly characters talking and maybe not. So yeah, I mean, that's a lot of the... When you do any sort of a dialogue-heavy game, I kind of like... It's really a balancing act, right? Because you can do a Broken Sword or a I Have No Mouth and I'm a Scream, and the characters are voiced over. And there's a lot of... Same thing when I do with Oblivion, right? There's a ton of dialogue and all the characters are fully voiced over, versus the alternative, which is kind of like... nothing is voiced over. It's all audio. It's all text, rather. And you have to do all the voices. So what's easier? For you to do all the voices? Or for you to wait and listen to what they say? I think the best balance of it is kind of like Eternal Darkness did. There are elements of it that are voiced over in cinematic cutscenes, but then there's a lot of text-based that can be read by whomever, and it's narrative, so it doesn't require a special or specific voice. And again, I don't know that I have the most pleasant narrator voice, so I just kind of read it in my own voice and, embellished where it was fun. This game can be trickier just because most adventure games don't punish you for clicking options. And that's exactly some of it. Like, I'm thinking about one, and Banjo, you may remember this one. I don't know, since it's been almost 20 years, or getting close to 20 years since you played it last. You might remember Gorster's got an option in his... Gorster's is tricky. I want to be very clear about this. And his has an option that punishes you just for doing it and has zero benefit whatsoever at the very, very beginning of his section. Not at the very, very beginning, but like the first 5 minutes in his world. And so I'll explain it when I get to it. Of course, that chapter's not here yet. It'll be the next chapter. I think that'll be the next chapter. So I'll explain it when we get there. But he's got a section that it just punishes you. It just is like, nope, you're not going to get perfect on this one. And it has no benefit to you whatsoever. And I kind of like that. I kind of think that's cool. I can get where it'd be frustrating if you were a perfectionist, but yeah, I kind of like it. It's also why I try to be very careful with my dialogue options, and kind of part of the reason I was trying not to be all cocky when I was talking with Ellen is like that his sin is vanity. So why am I going to make the fact that, like, I won't let you die, I need you. Why am I going to let you, whose sin is pride and vanity, make what this woman wants about what you need? Like, she wants to pass away, and I'm going to why would I do that? So that's what I'm going to try and avoid. So, I have a couple of memories. Gorster's has a couple of places where clicking on certain things will mess you up. And I think I have those remembered, so it's just going to be a matter of sequence, really, but I enjoy it anyway. And I like hearing the story, and I like the characters, and I don't think that Ted's is kind of detached from the rest of them, because I think that gave you this very innocent, very silly... Those of you who've not played this, I think he gave you a very kind of innocent and very silly, like, oh, this isn't that dark. And his chapter's really not at all. The next chapter will be. It's going to drop pretty substantially. It'll be quite a bit darker. And then the next one will be quite a bit darker. And then the next one will be quite a bit darker. And then the last one will be very, very dark. So... I've done it this way on purpose, because it also means that people can be comfortable coming into it and realizing it's going to get worse. The titles of these videos, I'm going to be very forthcoming with you too. The titles of these videos are going to be pretty well just the sin we can expect. So dark that you'll need the lights on. It's not quite like, it's not scary in that. So I know you're saying that it's enjoyed it. I'm glad you did. Let me explain. A lot of games today that are dark in tone or in theme, most of them, not all of them, are scary because of jump scares, audio scares, gory, visceral, or cerebral, this is and that. Like Outlast is a good example of a pretty creepy game, right? But it's creepy because you're being pursued by something that wants to kill you, and you're kind of hiding and playing hide and seek with it, and yes, that's kind of scary, right? But think about that. Take that out of the context of a video game. What are the odds of a gigantic mutated slasher? Or Dying Light, another good example. Not Dying Light. Evil Within. There we go. Evil Within, which are, I think, by the way, really good games too. What are the odds of those types of circumstances occurring, right? In some cases where it's the supernatural, the answer is maybe not at all, right? Depending on whether you believe in that or not. When it comes to, these Michael Myers-esque, when it comes to like Freddy Krueger, the answer is, maybe not at all. When it comes to Jason Voorhees, the answer is probably not. When the answer comes to Michael Myers, not likely. You start getting more and more realistic with it, and even still, the statistics kind of aren't. This one covers sins and evils that are statistically very likely, and very likely you have had happen to you, or committed, or know somebody who has. It's this game plays on that. It plays on you having to sympathize, empathize, or detest characters based on things that you see happening that are statistically very possible, or very possibly somebody you know. Well, you've reminded me of the Friday the 13th game, where a player just left the game on and didn't come to kill me, and the Nintendo reviewer as Jason. Well, okay. Fair enough. I haven't played that game. I've seen it. I've heard people like it, but I didn't. I haven't played it, rather. When it comes to horror, that's the thing about horror, too, is that's when I play a horror game like Outlast and Whistleblower and Silent Hill and all these, they have a fear factor, but I don't find that scary. That doesn't make me face any truth, right? The Harlan Ellison game, not the book. The book's a little outlandish, but the game does have some really unusual, dark truths about humanity. And that's the point of the game, by the way. And I think Harlan's kind of gone on record saying something akin to this, but it's basically that this is what he does in this game. And again, it looks silly. The graphics are dated. This game is almost 30 years old. Next year it'll be 30 years old. So yes, this game has been around for a while, but it makes you realize the darkness of man and woman and whatever, but the human species, how awful we are, by giving you statistically probable scenarios in a narratively improbable way. So the sins that you're going to face in this game are real and frequent. It's just in the scenario that you're being given, that's the outlandish part. That's what makes it somewhat palatable. That's the sugar that helps the medicine go. I think it's brilliantly done. Harlan's no longer with us. He passed away. He was known to be a curmudgeon and kind of an odd guy and kind of but he was pretty brilliant. And yes, he had a big ego on him, and yes, it would probably not be a great idea to tell him this, but posthumously, I would say he's one of my favorites when it came to his writing style and this game and just all of that. I think it's really, he's one of my favorites when it comes to this particular type of just surreal narrative. He's not my favorite author of all time. There are other books out there that I like that are different genres that I probably would say are on bigger pedestals, but he's one of them. He's probably in my top 5. And if you have a chance, you might want to. There is a short story, again, nothing like this. There's a short story that may give you some context on some of these people. And while mildly demented, it isn't quite as bad as some of the stuff we'll jump into in the game. You don't find Silent Hill scary. Mind you, the mirror room in Silent Hill 3 is mostly the only point in a Silent Hill game that actually made me feel scared for the rest of the day. No, I don't find things that most people find scary. Viddy, and to be clear with you, Viddy, I just don't. Like monsters and slashers, killers, shooters, knife fights, supernatural entities entering the world through television and mirrors, or none of that bothers me. None of that bothers me at all. I've never been worried about any of that. None of that has ever really bothered me, even as a kid. A long time ago, of course, I wasn't a kid when several of those things kind of came to mind. But my point being is, I guess horror, like they've always kind of had the horror genre of slashers and stuff. That's always kind of been a thing. But my point is, like, that never scared me. None of those really bothered me. Time bothered me. Time always has bothered me ever since I was young. And that's it. But one of the scary concepts is being face to face with something that is real. Being stuck in a room with a mirror that can, like a reflection that can come out and attack you. And, if you've ever seen the movie Mirrors with Kiefer Sutherland, there was that one where the reflection puts her hands inside of her mouth. The reflection puts her hands inside of her jaw and rips her own jaw off, and it happens to also tear the jaw of the person in real world. Like, that's a cool concept, but that's not scary because that's not the way reflections work, right? We know how reflections work. We know that that's not the case. What about the supernatural? Well, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know, but I don't know how it works, and so there's nothing for me to fear except for that I don't know. And not knowing, to be afraid of not knowing, is a terrible thing, because that is the state of existence. We don't know. So we must be comfortable with not knowing, so to be afraid of not knowing is kind of dangerous, right? So that's kind of the way my mind works. So all of those things fall into that giant sphere. And scary to me is being face to face with the things that I can prove are terrible. And it's not scary to me, it's uncomfortable. Time is the only thing that's ever really scared me. But it's uncomfortable to be placed. It's not uncomfortable for me. Like clowns, this is another good example of that. Like if you have a clown, if I'm walking down a street, and bear in mind, I live in a place where you're out in the middle of absolute nowhere a lot of the time, because there's a lot of nowhere out here. But you've got a random clown with a knife I'm walking around the street, and you have a random clown come up with a knife. Okay, let's go. Here we go. This is, is the clown being silly? I'm not afraid of clowns. I've always liked clowns. I'm not afraid of clowns, right? But everybody's terrified about that. Like, that just doesn't bother me. Now, of course, if it's actually like a mass murderer who's, using a clown facade and he's got a knife. I live in a state where it's very common to carry a gun, so that's not likely going to happen, right? You don't have to have a license to carry a gun on your hip down here where I am. You just can. You can just have a gun carried on your hip. Go buy one, pass your background check. You can put it in a holster on your hip and you're good to go. Dolls bother you? And I know people that are that way too. I mean, by the way, I want to be very clear. There's no shame in what does scare you. And that's all the way from clowns to dolls to arachnophobia to no shame. It's just that stuff doesn't bother me. It hasn't really ever bothered me. It's just that kind of thing. You have a clown with a black, gothic look. They have this prank where they have this gothic clown with like a black balloon, just kind of creepily staring and being quiet, towards people. I mean, I'm okay with that. Clowns don't bother me. I do that. But there's no shame in that. I think the uncomfortable is being faced with what actually happens. The sad things that we as humans actually do. Because like slashers, clowns, all of that stuff, that's more taking something to a supernatural extreme. But we humans, and I'm not saying me, and I'm not saying you guys specifically, I'm just kind of giving it the human condition is to create awful things awful terrible things, and really well. A question to you, Banjo, since dolls bother you, I'm just curious by chance, have you played Resident Evil 8 Village? It is a favorite of mine. It is actually my favorite Resident Evil. I was talking with Ash and Viddy. It's actually my favorite over 4, only slightly. I haven't played any except 1. Do you like horror games, and do you like the prospect of being a little uncomfortable and in a scary kind of way? Or is that something that doesn't appeal to you? Are you more of a happy-go-lucky kind of person? That would be... which one is a great one, too? Only game I've really liked is Fatal Frame 1, which is great. A great choice. Fatal Frame is fantastic, so I'm with you there. If you are someone who is bothered by... You don't mind having that kind of scary atmosphere, and you want to play a game that has at least a section or two in there that I think you're really going to get that full experience from, I would recommend Resident Evil 8. I would heavily recommend that. But I want to preface this without spoiling anything, only based on what you've told me, only if you do enjoy the prospect of feeling a little uncomfortable in a scary, fearful way. If you're not interested in that, disregard, don't even worry about it. But if you are interested in that, I think you might find some utility in 8. But anyway, this is one of the reasons I like Harlan Ellison's game. It's the reason I like I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. It's also pretty concise. It's very easy to chop up into bite size. We know it's 1 character per episode plus the finale, 6 episodes total. So we know we're going to be doing this for the next month, right? Halloween for me is all the time. So we'll probably carry... I know we're not going to carry Halloween all the way through, but I know the next game after that is going to be a Hat in Times DLC. After I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, and then after that I'm going to... Well, during this entire period between that and Hat in Time, I'm going to be reaching out to you guys and asking you point blank, what are games you want me to put up to a vote in the Discord so that you can vote for the next ones. But that's kind of what the plan looks like right now. I'm not as bothered by the scariness as the scarce resources. I tend to run through all of my heal items and soft lock myself. So good news about 8 is 8 does have a smaller... So resource management is much, much less the focus in 7 and 8. It's much more about experience. Now, I'm not saying you can't run through it, and especially if you play it on the harder difficulties, you're going to run through your stuff. But I would argue that 7 and 8 really mitigated the resource management part of it as scary and just ramped up the levels of discomfort in terms of what is traditionally or classically scary or uncomfortable. And I think they did a really good job. 7's okay. It's not bad. I think it's kind of forgettable. There are elements of it, there are moments of it that are not, but I think all in all it's pretty forgettable. But 8 is, I think, really, really well done. And I like the story, and everything is just really nice. And I would include the DLC in that, but obviously I don't think any DLC is necessary to experience the entire... Well, I don't know about that. Witcher's DLC is pretty necessary. Hearts of Stone and Blood and Wine are amazing. That you don't miss out if you don't play them. Well, you're not missing out on the main game if you don't play them, but you kind of are missing out on some more amazing story. But yeah, I would recommend it. I know it goes on sale. I don't know what systems you have, but I know it goes on sale pretty frequently, and I think it goes for really cheap. I think it gets down to like $11 or $12 on Xbox digital. I think it's gotten down to like $11 or $12. It's like 4 years old. Digital copy if you're not uncomfortable with digital. If you're someone who's not, diehard physical like me. I have PS. Oh, okay. Yeah, if you have PS3 and PS2, I think it's on Xbox Series X, and I think it's on PS4 and 5. I don't think there's a PS3 and PS2. Which, of course, Fatal Frame, PS2 obviously is great. Fatal Frame 1, 2, and 3 are pretty great for that. Silent Hill obviously is out for that. PS3, they actually made the Silent Hill duology, I believe it was. So Silent Hill 2 and 3 were remastered. Even though it's not this Silent Hill 2 remaster, it is an upscaling. So if you haven't already gotten the chance of that. I was trying to think of really good horror games for those consoles. Honestly, there are a couple, but I can't think. I mean, obviously Rule of Rose, but that's almost impossible in the States to get a copy of for under $400 or $500, and even now I think it's more than that. I think it's like $700. Great game, but not. I wouldn't spend $700 on it. But it's Atlas, so not unexpected either, you know. But anyway, it's been fun. I like this. I had fun with it. The setup's different. I'll make it as comfortable for you guys as I can. I hope it didn't have too many issues in terms of graphics, in terms of the gameplay and the pacing. I hope that the sound sounded okay and you could hear me all right, and that I was interacting with you appropriately, although I know it's a little delayed. But I hope that it was ultimately a pretty comfortable experience considering the amount of discomfort that this game is going to introduce. And I really appreciate everybody for popping in. Ash, Maximum Wesley, Viddy, Banjo the Wizard, Fighting Max, all of you for jumping in, saying hi, talking with me, philosophizing with me at the very beginning, kind of philosophizing and comparing notes here at the end. I really do appreciate it. It's very, very appreciated and wonderful to have the company of people that I have grown to respect. And yeah, I had a lot of fun. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave you here. We're setting it a little over 4 p.m. here where I am. So I'm going to take some time, enjoy the rest of my Saturday. I hope you guys will do the same. And because we're doing it on a Saturday, you guys have a whole other day off tomorrow to enjoy. So please do enjoy it. Well, of course, Viddy, it's already Sunday for you, or it's getting there if not. I hope that you all have a wonderful day, a wonderful rest of your weekend, a wonderful rest of your week. And back to Sunday next stream. Everything goes right, should be back to Sunday. If not, I'll announce again in the Discord and have my go live. Should be back to Sunday next weekend, though. I will be out of town on work on business this week, and I'm working on a secret project as well, which is kind of cool. Hopefully, we'll have some stuff coming up in the future. So I've got some stuff to do that will be in the YouTube space, by the way. So that'll be cool, but I'm not going to say anything beyond what I've just said there, just so I don't spoil anything. But I hope you guys all have a wonderful time. Thank you so much for joining me. And we'll see you guys next weekend. you.